What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Thursdays on How We Roll with a brand new campaign starting tonight. So if you're here for the get-go, you'll get to see all the goodies and see it all kick off from day one. Our new campaign is called Shadows of Aventus. I'm going to say no more about it than that, but it'll all start to make sense once we start playing. I am your Game Master, Gorbad. Joining us tonight, we have 4 of our players. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves as players, but we're going to let the characters get introduced once the gameplay starts. So, and thank you for that, Wrath of Shane. Very much appreciate. Let's see, all of your help on letting me know that I needed to update Nightbot. Because I completely forget about Nightbot a lot of the time, so Blue Sky's now added to that. Pepperjack, thank you very much for your cheeriness there, so much love for you there. Did I... Actually, you know what? I haven't even launched that app yet. First episode, getting everything set up is always kind of weird, so give me a second. And hopefully, if I... hope it adds it. There it goes. Alright, I don't know if that's correct. Because the donation is definitely correct. I'm not sure that the monthly top tier is correct. If it's not, it's double that, so I appreciate it either way. So, what have we got going on this evening? Well, we are playing a brand new TTRPG that has been unofficially called Gorehammer. That's not the official name, but it's the name that is floating around the office, I guess. It is basically a game that is built on the Chaosium role-playing game system. It's developed by us here at How We Roll. It is very much a skill-based, hit point crunching tabletop role-playing game. Combat is pretty lethal. You can die easy. And it's designed to kind of optimize roleplay and bring out some like real effort in the combat and tactics and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. We've beta tested it for several months. This is its first official maiden voyage, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll introduce the cast now. As I said, we're going to leave the characters until we kind of get into game. And then they'll introduce themselves, describe what they look like, and you guys will pick it all up from there. They don't know how they're going to start, so this is going to be a bit of a thrown in at the deep end thing for the characters, or the players. But we'll introduce him now. So you know him, you love him or hate him, a moderate amount either way. It is Shagget.
I really hope they don't actually hate me. I mean, you could dislike me or think me the least of the other cast members in play. Hi guys, I'm Shagget. I have been a part of How We Roll since its inception. Nigh on 10 and a half years ago now, going on 11 years soon. There's not much that people don't know about me, just that D&D, I was introduced to D&D via How We Roll, but I have done other role-playing games before that, MUDs, writing, novels, shit like that. I suck at voices, but I love roleplay and I love storytelling, and that'll kind of key you into what I'm going to be doing later on, but that'll come later. But hello, everybody. Oh, I'm also born and raised in New York City, and I'm 41 going on 65. That's, you know, how I like to describe myself. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Joining us for the first time, we have a new person with us. Not new to chat, not new to the community, but new to being this side of the screen. So you may introduce yourself, my dear.
All right. Hi, I'm Tara, and I've been in chat since 2020, so about 5 years. I started playing D&D around 2019, and then I found How We Roll. I kind of learned how to play and, learned all the ins and outs from watching the stream and, really enjoyed watching everybody, had a great time, met a lot of great people here. And now I jumped from the chat into this side of the box. So yeah, about me, I'm an East Coaster. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, moved to Florida. So other than D&D, I like co-op games, and I love my cat. I'm a cat lady, and I do some crafting. So yeah, that's me.
Being crafty.
Crafty.
All right. Also joining us, it is the one, the only Satchmo.
That's me. I'm Satchmo. That's me. Whoa. What do I say about myself? No, I like doing this. I like playing games on this channel specifically. I like being here with this community in particular. I've been here a long time. So if you're new here, hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. You're my favorite. If you're old here, me and the new guy.
All right, there we go. And last but not least, we are joined by Nick Nat or Nat.
Hi, I'm Nat. I wasn't aware we were doing full personal intros, but I'm Nat, and I've been here for a while. I don't know how many years. I lost track of time, but I've been here since the Call of Cthulhu game. That was my first time on the stream, but I actually learned how to play tabletop RPGs at Gore's house back in the day when we all did at the table tabletop RPGs. Tabletop. Yeah,
around the kitchen table on a Tuesday night from 6:30 to when we couldn't do anymore.
To whenever.
That's it.
So yeah, it's great to be back. I've missed you all so much.
Indeed.
I just want to say before Gore, you continue, I met Nat on the actual tabletop where I was Skyped in.
It's true.
Play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay for the first time as a Kislevite warrior, I think was what I wrote up. And that was the most awkward thing in the world because all of you guys were at an actual physical table doing your thing, and I'm on a fucking monitor on a Skype call via head. It felt really weird, but I did enjoy myself. I felt the disconnects,
if you were at the
kind
table,
of borderline hazing.
It was funny because we all looked around the table, and then at the very end was a huge monitor with your face on it.
His big mug right up on the monitor, yeah.
The biggest struggle was if we weren't looking at the screen, you couldn't hear us because the microphone wouldn't pick us up.
Right.
And so we would turn to talk to each other, and then you'd I have no idea what's happening.
They're doing things.
Beautiful.
Yeah, stuff happened.
I'm still here.
I love that.
Yeah, it was kind of like throw it together at the last minute. It sort of worked, but it might not have been ideal, but hey, it happened. He was literally Max Headroom.
That's so good.
I like that lore drop. I learned something.
So there we go.
That's cool.
But yeah, so I guess there's not a whole lot else to say, but dive straight into what's going on. I need to open a thing. Where's the thing that I didn't open? Let me drag this. Oh crap, I've got no room to put it. I'll put it here. With the million monitors that I have, I need this open somewhere. Almost, you know what? Let me print this. I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and print this real quick. I'd rather have it in print at my desk than something else to read off of one of these four screens. So if you will, give me just 1 second. Chat will entertain you while I go and grab this off the printer, and I'll be back in just 30 seconds.
I love this dynamic that chat entertains us.
Yeah,
really nice.
What a show!
I'm not
here.
responsible for this now. I can sit here and just be like, entertain me. I don't have to say anything.
Yeah, so, but there are good days and bad days where sometimes chat just likes to be on in lurk mode. And you just sit there in silence and awkwardly, all right.
Not every day is the invention and inception of ratto puns. Not every day. That was like a good 6 months, all born out of one message.
That's how it starts.
Yeah, Sat started trolling us pretty early.
Yeah, that was like my first interaction. Was just like, oh damn, I can be rude.
Yeah, let's just haze the people on screen,
Yeah, you're here for my entertainment. I'm gonna get my enjoyment out of it.
Aw.
Now I'm on this side of it, so I try to be the same.
Thursday, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday. This is crazy.
Thursday's
I'm so
back.
excited. I'm so excited. Especially Gorehammer. Like, I'm so excited for this system. It's so fun. It's absurd. It
All right.
works exactly how it ought to.
Good deal. Okay, we got it. We're ready to roll. Woo-hoo. So, before we kind of dig in, we're going to give you a little bit of a mini history, mini world overview. So, the land that we're in is the closest way to describe it to any Earth history would be we are in the Bronze Age. Bronze is arguably the best metal that has been manufactured or discovered. We are on the cusp of a rare few learning the secrets of steel, but steel is almost magical in the fact that it's that rare. In the world, the deities, the pantheon, plays a very strong role in every aspect. Much like in many fantasy worlds, everybody that lives in this world doesn't have to have faith in the deities. They have fact. They know that they are real. They know that they exist. Because of that, in a world where you know that there are greater powers watching you, blessing you, cursing you, judging you, all society, generally speaking, forms into what we lovingly call cults. But I don't want you to think of cult as in a bad way. Cult literally means nothing more than the followers of a particular deity. An average cult is made up of tribes, and within those tribes, you're going to find that there are groups of people that all kind of come together and prosper, but they're all kind of underneath that particular cult. Tribe is like your family. You all generally share the last name. You generally share the surname. Then there is a clan as well. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Clan, I misspoke. Clan is like your family. Multiple clans form a tribe. And then tribes create cults. So your clan is your immediate family that shares your last name. Numerous clans will join a tribe, and generally speaking, they are all somehow connected, whether it's by commonality, distant bloodlines, things like that. But ultimately, they're all going to be part of a particular cult, and that cult is going to define what deity your tribe worships. Now, on top of that, this is a very magical world, more magical than most of the tabletop worlds that we run in on How We Roll. In the fact that every single being has some element of magical prowess. Now, we have a few different types of magic in this world. First of all, there is what we consider to be domain magic. Domain magic is what you get sent to and given access to by your cult, by your deity. Then we have spiritual magic. Spiritual magic is magic that shaman can tap into through the spirit world. Then we have, beyond that, elemental magic. Elemental magic is something that people draw from the very elements themselves. Air, fire, earth, water. Even if your character, even if your persona, even if you're not, your individual is not a priest, is not a shaman, is not a sorcerer, is in no way directly tied to a magical lineage or magical pursuits, everybody has a little magic about them. They can all do something. Whether they get a little bit from the lingering power that might flow over to them through their cult, or whether it's something that they draw directly from the elements themselves. So, even though we have a cast of characters that might be scholars, they might be melee characters, they might be stealthy, don't be surprised when every one of them has some kind of magic up their proverbial sleeve. Now, with all that being said, we're going to welcome you to a region in this world known as Salazar. Now, Salazar is a mountainous region and is home to many hill tribes. It is a hotbed of petty feuds, heroes, and questing. Salazarians are quarrelsome and fiercely independent by nature. The menfolk tend to be emotional and violently passionate, with swift changing moods. The womenfolk tend to be more cunning and practical and vengeful. As well as its mountain ranges, there are dense, dark forests that few dare to delve too far into. Trolls, ogres, and worse dwell in the mountains and forest regions, making this area a prosperous one for blood hunters or would-be adventurers. The climate here in Salazar has many microclimates due to the high-peaked mountains, deep valleys, and rolling hills and forests. Once the region was feudal, with tribal unrest and wars. The late tribal leader Salazar, which is obviously where it got its name from, married the daughter of the chief of the second most prominent tribe, and he united the two strongest tribes into one. He then went about bringing the other tribes to heel, and in a long period of unrest that lasted almost 20 years, he eventually united all the tribes. He then went about imposing taxes, building trade routes, temples, forts, and various other things to help protect the lands and help it to prosper. He also commissioned the building of Salzholm, the first city and seat of power. Over the next 100 years, the region flourished and began to become more civilized. It was then that the newly named land of Salazar was invaded by armies from the Telerian Empire. Salazar resisted strongly, and for a generation there was open rebellion as the Telerian Empire struggled to put Salazar under its heel. Eventually, a rebel war leader, Andrin Lindevar, succeeded in reclaiming Salzholm with his rebels, killed the Telerian rulers, thus reclaiming Salazar's independence. At that time, he then proclaimed himself the new crown prince of Salazar. And that brings us up to the current times, where we live and we are going to adventure today. A few other things of note. In ancient times, there was a great city in Salazar known as Torquemon, which was the home to the realm's previous societies and rulers. The city is now little more than a vast expanse of ruins which offer daring excursions into danger and reward for those brave enough to take up the challenge. The largest city, as we said, is Salzholm, where the high temple of Zephalgar is situated. Zephalgar is the god of storms. The Sunken Hollow is another place of great interest. Legend tells that in ancient times a great war against chaos ended when the armies of Torquemon chased the minions of chaos into deep tunnels in the mountains. Here, the high priests of Zephogar came together and prayed to the god of storms to strike down the mountainside itself with terrible lightning and brought the tunnel roofs down upon the Chaos minions. However, some survived, and the lingering remnants of Chaos are still there. From time to time it erupts, and always becomes a menace. It is rumored that one of these tunnels leads directly to the underworld. And that is about all you need to know about where we are. Now, we are going to join our heroes. We will not be meeting them in a tavern. They will not be gathered around a campfire. In fact, we're going to meet them in a rather interesting scenario. So we're going to start off here. Let me grab some appropriate noise.
So fun.
Scared already.
Can we please just meet in a tavern, Gore? Like, what are you
It's
doing?
going to be a...
No, you guys all know each other. You've been
You're
adventuring
finally
for a
awake.
year.
Well,
Why would you need to
minimum.
meet in a tavern?
It's a
here we
birthday
are.
party.
Let's start with this.
Oh, good. You're finally awake.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and for the first time in this campaign, pull back the shutters and let you guys see where we are. I'm going to go to our region map first and kind of give you guys an idea of where they are. This region map is deliberately sparse for reasons, because we want to fill it in as we play. So you guys will get to kind of discover things along with us. All right. Oh, I just realized I have a thing. Okay. Where is that? Okay. Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and pull our players. Why is that not showing? I've got the wrong map showing. Even though I'm on the right map. Typical first episode jitters. There we go.
Struggles.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jumpgate has a weird way of dragging people around. It's like
Yeah.
up at the very top.
Alright, players, are you seeing this little map?
Mhm.
Okay.
I see a forest.
Alrighty, yes. And that's good, because you guys are in this forest. You are on the edge of a forest trail. It is considered a road, but it's not paved. It's not stoned. It's basically just a thwaft cut through the forest, stumps removed, where wagons and carts are able to travel. Before we get any further, let me just do a few shout-outs. Neo Gambit, thanks for the sub. Wrath of Shane, Parkinsil gifted a sub to Nick. Nah, that was sweet. Pepperjack resubbed. Pepperjack also gave us that lovely cheer. Thank you for that. Cricket77 hit the follow button. Parkinsil also gifted a sub to Mead and Troy. So if you got gifted subs, say thank you, because it's the right thing to do. All right, back to it. So where are we? Let's go to our opening encounter.
Oh. Okay.
So it begins.
All right.
Oh,
So,
Jesus.
I need. What was your little guy's name, Shagget? Your minster?
Conrad.
Conrad?
Oh, no.
Conrad Werner.
Okay, shortest living
Mr.
NPC on How We
Werner.
Rolled History. Okay.
I could give you details about him if you want.
Yeah, give us some details about Conrad Werner. So, Shagget's character, who we're going to get introduced to in a little while, has, for want of a better word, a groupie.
Yeah. His name is Conrad Werner. He's a traveling musician, a lute player. Although whether he's good at it or not is up for debate. He is think of him like Seth Mildwood without the punching skills, without the fighting skills.
So really useless.
He's
drinks.
he's strong. He's a big boy, and he loves tabards and stories. He's I think the biggest of us, size at 17.
Yeah, physically he's big. He's not very strong, though, if I remember right.
His strength is average. His constitution, his charisma, it's all kind of weak sauce. He's not very dexterous.
So he's
not
kind of
very intelligent.
He's very tall and lanky, right?
No, I'm tall and lanky.
Oh, you're the tall and lanky one. That's
he's,
right.
He's a puffball. Let's be real. He's a puffy wham. And he has a lute, and he has some survival outdoorsy skills. He basically travels around and carries all my shit.
Okay.
That's essentially what he is.
So Conrad basically popped his head above the bushes and, almost white as a sheet, glances around and says, "Is everybody okay?" What we're basically seeing is dead bodies laying on the road and our heroes standing triumphantly over numerous corpses. Why would that be the case, you ask? Well,
are we brigands?
We'll see. But as Mira brings down the final man, you're all able to take a deep breath and survey the surrounding area. It could have been a tough battle, as you looked fairly evenly matched, but the ambush tactics from behind the bushes near this relative clearing in the woods, flanking the roadway, turned out to be a good one. You were right. They never expected to be hit while in the clearing, so their guard was down. The 4 bodies of the mercenaries, or let's be real, bandits, for a more accurate term, lay strewn around while you all come away relatively uninjured, save a few scratches and bruises. You had heard that these thugs had murdered a courier who was on his way to Salisholm, and that they had taken an item of value from him. Your sources told you that they were traveling south to Talendon with their prize. You have yet to decide what to do with the item, if indeed you find it. You wonder who, if any, of these rogues may have the item in question. Now, what your motives were is up to you guys. If you wanted to get the item and keep it for yourself, if you felt like these were a bunch of bastards that needed dealing with, who knows? That's up to you. But as I said, Mira just brought down the final man. You'll see he tried to drag himself on all fours off the road, but at the last moment went for a dagger as if he was going to throw it, and Mira cut him down before he had the chance. Mira stands right now, hovering over him. Nat, tell us a little bit about Mira.
All right. Mira is also a bandit. She is kind of average of size. I think she's around 5'7". I believe she has strawberry blonde hair. And she's got this really wicked scar right across her face from a previous battle where she almost died. Yeah. So she's just kind of, she's outfitted very much like somebody who has seen battle and will see battle again. Carries a rapier and is kind of always ready to be a little merciless when it needs to be.
Kind of lightly armored and...
Yeah,
okay. Cool. Behind her, as I draw your attention over to here, is her sister, who just finished running this poor bastard through, sticking him right at the top of the shoulder blades. That's why he's like face down in a huge pool of blood. Tell us about Umbra, Tara.
So Umbra is, as you said, Mira's twin sister, fraternal twins. She has dark hair. She's dressed in lighter armor, but she's a little more stealthy. She is a thief. So she likes shiny things, but is not shiny herself. She kind of sticks to the shadows a bit more. She's bit more calculating. So that's why he's face down, because he got poked in the back as opposed to going right in the front of him. So a little more sneaky than her sister.
There you go. How facially they're not identical twins, right? But they favor each other. You can tell they're sisters, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the older sister?
I am.
By
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
2 minutes.
I had to ask.
2 minutes.
It'll probably come up in play too.
Alrighty.
And twins.
As we kind of glance westward down the road, we come to this fine-looking fellow, who is kind of standing over yet another of our corpses. Why don't you tell us about who you are, Shaggy?
So Edwards is his name. He is, for lack of a better word, a bard, but not a musical bard. He's a storyteller bard. He's an entertainer. He is exactly the opposite of Conrad. He is tall, lanky, almost unhealthily skinny. He looks a little sickly.
Machine Gun Kelly.
How can he possibly lift a sword and wield it with any kind of proficiency? Which is true because he also has a sling. He wears very comfortable, puffy kind of armor, like leather stitched armor. You know, but it has the North Face-ness to it, I guess you could call it. He does that to cover up the fact that he doesn't look very healthy, and he is, in fact, really skinny. It doesn't really work. But he has slicked back dark brown hair, green eyes. He has a confident smile on him at all times, despite his appearance. And there's an aura about him. I mean, he's a storyteller and he's successful at it for good reason. There's an aura about him that you would listen to, if and when he's
captivating.
Yeah, it's an indescribable little charisma capture, I guess you can call it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. And lastly, we have this fine lass who is also standing over one of the corpses. Let's hear a little bit about Istana.
Calling her a fine lass might not be quite the right way to put it. She's not Amazonian by any means, but she's a pretty big, sturdy girl. She's solid. She looks like she enjoys sports more than most of the boys, and that's basically her attitude. She probably came here just to fight for the sake of fighting at this point. She's been through it a few times, and she quite enjoys the bouts. So she's got her traditional fighting gear for her colt. She looks kind of like a horse girl. She's got her hair braided down and stuff to keep it back, but she's just wielding a sword and a shield, and honestly, she's just probably looking around, making sure there's nothing else to do, and then she's going to take a deep breath like, oh, that was fun.
Alrighty. Yes, so every one of you is looming over a corpse. One of you, or a couple of you, contributed in taking down the fifth man. So, as I said, the reason that you were here waiting to ambush these guys was you had heard that they had stolen something of value from a courier. The courier was taking the item to Salah's home. These people were taking the item to a nearby town, in the very much opposite direction. In fact, you would kind of head west and then follow the road west and ultimately northwest if you were going to Salah's home. But, as I said, they were heading towards Talendon, which is kind of southwest of here, sorry. So, yeah, what do you guys want to do?
So, to what Astana said, I'm just going to turn and say, I wouldn't necessarily call that fun, but I am intrigued to know which one of these guys has what we're looking for.
Okay, to point out, you don't know what you're looking for. No, the item was never described to anybody. It was just an item of value. I mean, come on, you'll figure it out, surely.
And then I'm gonna say, I don't know what it is, but I'm interested.
Yeah. Astana will start searching this body over, and just as an afterthought, oh, and to answer your question, yeah, we're all fine. We're all fine.
Yeah. Poor Conrad. It's not the last time that he will see this. It is not the first time that he has seen this, but in true fashion, Comrade isn't a fighter. He pretty much runs and hides and stays the hell out of the way. He sees his job as recording for prosperity everything that's happening, not dying foolishly, because he just doesn't have the survival skills.
He's in the back playing music, so we have like battle music, right?
Yeah.
Well, again, not very well necessarily. It's,
Albert, here comes
man.
Albert.
We'll discover how good his musical skills are later when I have to roll for them.
Yeah. Think of him as a really bad,
Yeah,
the guy that follows the Witcher around, a bad version of that.
Yeah, he strums like 3 or 4 notes, and maybe they turn into a melody that you could sing to. Mostly, there's just background noise. You know.
Does he clap the coconuts? Yes, there you go. He's the coconut guy behind.
No, I saw him as the guy with Sir Robin.
There you go. Yeah, the minstrel.
That's the one I see him
That's
as.
probably closer to
It's
the
open and
Witcher.
it's these
Brave, 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 Sir Robin.
Okay,
That's
so, Istana, you said you wanted to kind of get down and dirty and search the corpse of the person laying dead at your feet.
Yeah, I'll flip her with my sword and then...
All right, this would be a thorough search, so give me a search skill roll.
Ooh. I get the first roll, you all lose.
This uses a percentage dice system, not a d20 system, just so you guys know.
Okay, yeah, so I have base, which is just going to be 25, so it's not good.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean you fail if you roll badly.
Okay.
Okay.
64.
Yeah, so you kind of start going through, you find a wineskin, you find a small money purse, you're sort of going through and starting to gather up things of interest. Shagit, what is Albert going to do?
I'm going to also search, but a little bit more delicately. You know, like move the piece of flat back of the cloth and then root in. Try to be mindful of the wounds.
All right, give me a search roll.
My search is not much better, I'll be honest with you. Mine's... Oh, but that is a success.
That is a very nice roll.
Okay, so...
My search is 30, just so everyone
So with a search skill of 30, a critical success is on a 1 or 2, but a special is on a 1 to 6. So you have rolled a special success.
Ooh.
What you find, you also find a wineskin, a few gold coins. Obviously, there's weapons on these guys. But in your careful lifting and folding, as you lift one piece of, we'll say his tunic, you hear an oddly faint rustling sound. Not very akin to a noise that you'd expect from fabric. As you investigate a little further, you realize, wait a second, there's something woven into this fabric. And then you realize there's actually a little secret pocket on the lapel. Reaching inside, you're able to pull out what seems like a small piece of folded paper.
I will unfold that paper and look at it.
Okay. You can read, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, very much so. That would be weird if I couldn't.
So in that case,
Being
let's
storyteller.
go to edit here. And I will put it in your journal temporarily. And you can decide if you wish to read this to everybody around you or not.
Oh, I have severe party loyalty with our travels. There's no way I'd keep this secret or deceptive.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, well.
It's a napkin.
Hey, Astana! Yeah, that's all I have is a fucking napkin. As it is so late, mine's a red wine in a fine mug, but I would like to drink it by the window if you do not mind. Make sense of that, guys! And I'm gonna like triumphantly wave the paper in the air like I discovered something amazing.
Huh? Okay.
You-
I'm gonna, whatever weapon this person had, I'm going to throw it over towards the bush so that the guy who didn't fight might take it.
Okay.
Yeah, Conrad would probably scoop it up.
Yeah, Conrad
knows.
carries, he basically carries a short sword and a belt dagger. He just doesn't like to use it.
Yeah. Well, he can have 2 then. Maybe it'll inspire him.
Okay, when you fling it over there, he kind of like clumsily gets out of the way of it, almost frightful of it, and it hits the ground. Okay, let's see as we move along the path. So yeah, you're still kind of everybody's still searching at this moment, because that's another thing in this system. It very much focuses on everything happening at exactly the same time. So it's very much not a your turn, her turn. All of this is occurring at the same point. So while Istana is searching, while Albert is searching, we fall to Umbra.
You know the seasoned TSA agents where they're like, like they are very like fast,
Efficient
thorough,
at looting.
efficient. That is Umbra because she is a thief. She is very supposedly skilled at this. So
Okay.
yes, searching the body next to
Right.
me with an
Also,
expert hand.
before not to interrupt you, but I'm going
Go
to
ahead.
because I'll forget if I don't. Shagget, you get to put a check mark against your search skill.
Yeah.
That is how we advance in this system, is when you successfully use a skill on the character sheet, which I can take just a second to show you guys, just so you know what we're talking about. I think I can. It might show up, it might not. No, they don't show up, do they? Because I've got it on auto pop-up. Okay, you can't see the character sheet. I apologize. But basically, it is a huge swath of skills, and next to it is a very small box. And if you successfully use a skill in a meaning way, you get to check it. And at the end of the session, adventure, whatever is most appropriate, anything that you've got a check mark, you have an opportunity to improve that. And that's kind of how you advance. There are no levels as such. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So Umbra, you're basically gonna rush search this individual. Then you may also,
Efficiently but thoroughly.
Yep.
Yes.
Also give me a search skill roll.
Okay. Yeah, mine is 40, so we'll see how that goes. 30.
That's a success. What you could do for me, if you go into the My Settings tab, top right, little cog
Yes.
icon,
Yes.
and in there, if you go down to dice options,
Oh,
Make
that
sure
was not
you-
turned on.
yeah, make sure
Okay.
enable advanced dice, enable 3D dice, and automatically roll 3D dice are all enabled.
It is now. Yes,
and now,
thank you.
and then the dice will roll for people to see. Okay, but a
Yep,
30
got
is
it.
a success.
Okay.
Okay, so you do the rush job and start searching. You, however, find something a little bit more interesting in this person's kind of belt pouch. There is what looks like a very ornate and strangely marked silver chalice, which looks a lot like this. And as Shagget has read the thing to everybody, the little note, I'm going to put it in everybody's journal so they can all see it. But this... And I'm guessing when you pull this out, it's probably not going to be too super secret. So
No.
I'll put
I'll
this
say-
in everybody's journal as well.
You mentioned wine. I've got a chalice over here. So if you've got wine, bottoms up.
I mean, that's a mighty fine mug, eh? And I'm gonna nudge Astana as she passes me.
And I can put... This is very interesting. It doesn't like displaying this stuff on stream like it used to. I guess this might be a new thing with the new version of Roll20. It's sucky, but okay. Because it doesn't let me... Because it opens it up as a new window, it doesn't screen cap it automatically. There we go. I can do it like this.
I'm gonna look over the body and then I'm gonna look up to Albert and be like, "What do we do? Boar bush arrow over this
That's what it looks like. Okay.
Or bush what?
boar bush arrow. You know,
What?
the arrow kills the boar rips the bush catches the arrow.
I'm sorry. That's way beyond my purview.
As
but yes.
well as the silver ornate
Clap
chalice.
your hands and then you do the gestures, decides who wins the thing to get to look at the... I'm just going to search this body.
in the same pouch as the chalice is a folded letter.
Oh. I would like to look at that letter and read it.
Okay. Let me put it in your thing first.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you can read it because of the size of it, but if not, I can read it to you.
I think I can. Let's see. My greetings to you. I must first state that I enter into this agreement with the same caution, and it is only my long-term trust in our mutual acquaintance that emboldens me to agree to this venture. I trust you will bring me the item swiftly, and as agreed, it is understood that I shall not question your methods. As we have never met, we will really rely on the deliverance and acknowledgement of each other by the agreed upon secret phrase. I am staying at the Old Crow Inn and Tap House in Talendon and will remain here a full week. I have the agreed sum with me, and while I still protest the amount is somewhat high, I am willing to pay in full upon receipt of the item. I look forward to concluding our business together. Yours faithfully, Aurelio.
Alrighty, well done. That was word for word perfect.
Yes. Yeah, that was one or two words. I'm like, oh, I got it. That was my eye test for the year. I'm good.
How common is literacy in the world? Pretty common for anybody that is remotely educated. There is a common dialect that is spoken everywhere, but each region also has its own kind of proprietary dialect.
So, Umbra,
So-
I found the secret phrase. I'm going to hold
You
up
have
this
the secret
paper again.
phrase. Hang on to that. I have the location. We need to go.
All right.
But do we have the entire phrase, or is it? Do you have to read the entire thing?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I kind of think that this was just where the person would be in the tavern.
But while you guys are discussing that, Mira, over your freshly slain enemy.
I was definitely searching this body.
Okay, then you also. And Tara, make sure you go ahead and put a little check mark next to your search skill.
Will do. Thank you.
And looks like you probably succeeded as well, Mira.
Ooh,
I
yes.
did. My
So
search
you
is a
get to
40.
check it.
Damn.
Your skill is a
Yay!
40 as well. Okay.
Yes.
Not quite enough for a special success, but while this individual, he has a wineskin, also has a money purse, which has a few coins in it. Also is carrying a small knapsack, which has several days worth of decent kind of travel food and rations with him. Other than that, it's just his weapons. Then there's this last guy, which Istana is going to go and give the once-over as well. Good deal. So give me a final search on this dude.
So bad at searching, so I'm probably going to be like, "What? Where's all this paper coming from?"
Why y'all finding paper?
As I
Yep, okay.
fail to find
Yeah,
anything.
again, you search this one. Few gold coins, not much. He's kind of like a little lighter on the, lighter weaponry, lighter armor. He's a little younger. Probably more likely one of the subordinates. Total, if you want to tally it up, how you divide up your monies is entirely up to you, of course, but there are 23 gold crowns, 14 silver shillings, and 32 shiny copper pennies.
So just from my character's perspective, any gold found this way, I would kind of defer and let them divide it up amongst themselves.
So if anybody
Because
gives you any money, that's fine.
if
but
you give me
don't-
money, it's fine, but I'm not actively like demanding my cut. You know?
Okay. Yep.
So, and you as a party, as a team, know this about me
Right.
because I'm rich, and you know I'm rich.
I feel like we've been together a year, and our system goes as follows, and I quote, I hold the money because I'm sturdy looking. If the other two need the money, they take it, and if you need money, you ask.
I don't
If
know
you
what,
are all
what
content
the
with
sisters
that-
would think.
I feel like
fine with that.
they can just lift it off me, no problem, and I wouldn't
Okay.
even notice.
No,
Give me 20.
no.
It's a fun
We have
game
a-
we play, where I'll be
We have
like,
a code.
this was heavier.
Okay. Yeah. Then. Then Istana, write down if you want to keep this as a separate little income, or if you want to put this with your own income. Entirely up to you. 23
I made
gold
like
crowns,
a-
14 silver
okay.
shillings, and 32 copper pennies.
32. Okay.
As I said,
think
you've
we would
also
have been
got food
hesitant
for a
at
few
first.
days, 2 full, fairly full wineskins, and there are basic rudimentary weapons scattered around the floor if anybody feels like they need any extras. But other than that, this was kind of a fairly light group of travelers. They weren't really, they're ruffians and bandits, not like a skilled combat platoon.
Probably sell some of the boots back in town.
This
pull
guy
the boots
had a
off.
throwing dagger. Would he have more than one throwing dagger? Because you said he was about to throw a dagger when I
Let's
killed him.
see. He had. I know that it's not a real type. He only had the one.
Okay, I'm gonna take that.
Okay. Yep. And a throwing dagger. It is different in the fact that obviously it is weighted differently and designed to be thrown, but can be used as a regular dagger as well.
I have throwing axes, so I figured having an extra dagger,
Something else to hurl
Yeah.
at people.
just in case I need it. I'm not good at it, but
Right. Okay. What do you guys want to
Have
do?
any ranged weapons of any kind?
That's the
Anything
only thing
ranged?
that any of them had that
Okay.
looked like it could be used at any range. None of them had any spears, bows, crossbows, anything like that.
Okay.
do you
No worries.
use throwing daggers?
I have a dagger.
Do you,
Already.
do you use it as a throwing dagger?
It just says dagger,
Okay,
so I'm not sure. That would be a GM question.
I'd probably hand it off to you. Then.
If you look
can have the
under
dagger.
missile weapon skills,
Yes.
there is throwing dagger is a separate skill.
Ah. Okay.
So depending on what you have in there is kind of the answer to that question, I guess. If you've got a relatively decent number in there, maybe you do. If it's incredibly low, you probably don't.
If you're more of a
Okay.
dagger person, I'd hand off the dagger to you, so you can put the throwing dagger, because you can use it as a regular dagger too.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
really use them. It was just mostly having an extra.
Also, because
Sorry,
they
I'll-
don't really have like a pommel or anything kind of, and the handles are a lot slenderer, they're much more concealable than a typical dagger as well. They go nicely up your sleeve or in your boot.
All right. I'll take that and kind of put it up my sleeve, and
Okay,
I will add it. Thank you.
there you go.
Of course.
Alrighty. So things of note. Silver chalice, covered in weird markings. A letter of agreement of some kind, and a weird paraphrase.
Do we think this is the item and the phrase and everything we need, or do we think there's something more?
I mean, I didn't
It's-
find any paper on this one or that one. I'm going to point at the two bodies I searched. But I don't know. I don't
Would
know
you
how
like
to-
me to look?
You're
I'm good at that.
probably better at it, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go over there.
Okay. I mean, obviously, anything obvious has already been found. You're kind of now looking for more tucked away, concealed pouches or anything like that. So go ahead and give us a dice roll on it.
Okay.
Another search roll.
Sure.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's a 3. Those are numbers. If you could change your purple to be a little lighter, because we can't read
Oh,
those
sure,
numbers.
no problem. Oh yeah,
They're
no
so dark.
worries.
You
All right,
can barely
that's a
read
little-
them. But that's
my
okay.
bad, yeah.
3. So with a 40, a 3 is a special success.
Oh, okay.
So you do actually find a little small concealed pouch. Unfortunately, all that's in it is an additional 10 gold crowns. Looks like he was holding out from the rest of the crew.
All right, I will toss that over.
You get a little applause from the sidelines as Albert watches
I'll
you.
take it. I'll take it. I'll toss that over to our.
Okay, you flick that over to Istana.
It's like to Istana. Istana, darling, here you go. I'll nick that off you later.
Of course. I'm gonna make it difficult for you.
As you should.
I'll hide it on my person somewhere. Okay.
Okay. Well, let me read. I'm pulling out the agreement again just to look at it.
Okay, I'm gonna reread it.
Agreement some caution.
I want to look over the chalice and see if I can are these symbols anything that we've seen before or that we could recognize?
I'll hand it to her. No problem. I'll let her look at it.
It's possible. So what I need to know from each of you is if you have any particular lores that might fill in, which would be either... So tell me what everybody's cult lores that they have, first of all.
Viserys, knowledge 20.
Okay, so you got Viserys. I don't need the number, I just need to know what you have.
Okay, I also have Elder Race lore.
Okay.
And like plant lore, but not very well.
Yeah, this
But
is
yeah,
more just
you asked for
lores.
cult.
Yeah, cult lores. What about everybody
I
else?
have Malamdal.
Malamdal? Okay.
I have Dewa
Malamdal.
and Malamdal.
You have Dewa and Mal. Okay, so 3 Malamdal. Yeah, that's... None of those is going to really be applicable here. The only other thing that could possibly... No, it probably wouldn't be. No, that wouldn't be specific enough. No, the markings, they're very kind of pictorial almost, but very kind of flowy and elegant. Very nice looking. I mean, very good craftsmanship. But that's about all. If anybody has a half-sensible evaluation skill and wants to take a stab at figuring out what this thing is worth, you can always do so. But if nobody really cares, then don't. What's up, Blood?
I think if this is the item, we should not show it around too often, but we could show the markings. Albert, do you have paper that you could maybe make a imprint of these markings on?
Ooh, do like a charcoal rubbing.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
bring it on. I got plenty of
Perfect.
rats.
Perhaps we can take this to someone who would be more knowledgeable about these things.
Yeah. So yeah, you could definitely wrap the top of the chalice with a piece of paper and then kind of charcoal rub all the way around it and have a fairly reasonable kind of representation. That's a good idea. That would work.
I
The
will
idea.
absolutely do that. Yeah.
The idea
Okay.
being like when we go to town, if we go to like anybody, we can be like, "Hey, look, we found something like this. Would you know?"
Does this mean anything to you? Perfect.
That way, we're not carrying this.
I can still
Chalice.
gifted another sub. Crooked Drook 77. You got gifted a sub by Parkin Seal.
Mira,
Appreciate it, dude. Hey, thank you. It's the right thing to do.
do you want to be the one to carry the chalice, or do you want to give it to Conrad?
I think one of us should probably carry it in case somebody tries to get it from us.
Fair enough.
Yeah, hearing that and seeing Conrad will happily look at you guys and say, 5 people have already lost their lives because of this chalice. Personally, I don't really want to carry it. I think that there might be a bit of a bad omen.
Hey,
That
Connie,
makes quite
think
sense.
fast. I'm gonna take a boot off this guy and chuck it over to Conrad to carry.
Okay, he'll be like, oh,
I'm stripping his
flushily try
boots.
to grab it.
They look nice.
Okay.
Umbra, should you carry this or should I? You're better at hiding things away, but I am stronger, so if somebody tried to take it.
I'm quite good at hiding wealth, so Bring it here. I'll take care of it.
Okay, I'll hand it off.
Okay, you can
Okay.
stash it.
I will have the chalice.
I'll take that letter if you don't mind. I have a place
Sure.
to put it.
Sure.
So I'm going to take the letter and the secret passphrase, open my book of tales, and slot it in, just like as
Yeah, so it's kind of like
so it's
hidden away
pressed
inside
and
the book.
nice. Yeah. And I'm going to stash the book back in my bag.
Sounds good.
Before you put it away, can we look at that one more time?
Yep.
Sure.
Because Swift was a key word in there.
Oh, yeah, and
Where we
red.
have to go.
If you want to reread it, that would probably be good. Be
Yeah.
good for chat as well.
I'll read it again without the accent because it's
Yeah.
easier for me. Okay, so it says again, my greetings to you. I must first state that I enter into this agreement with some caution, and it is only my long-term trust in our mutual acquaintance that emboldens me to agree to this venture. I trust you will bring me the item swiftly, and as agreed, it is understood that I shall not question your methods. As we have never met, we will rely on the deliverance and acknowledgement of each other by the agreed upon secret phrase. I am staying at the Old Crow Inn and Tap House in Tallenden, and will remain here a full week. I have the agreed sum with me, and while I still protest the amount is somewhat high, I am willing to pay in full upon receipt of the item. I look forward to concluding our business together. Yours faithfully, Aurelio.
Umbra, looking over those words, besides proper grammar, which of the words are capitalized? That are not like just normal sentences,
I.
No,
Old-
not the eyes, not the eyes. Like actual
You-
words.
You
know,
asked. Okay. Old Crow Inn and Tap House, Tallenden.
not a name,
I-
name of place, a thing. I'm saying this because my secret passphrase, the word red is capitalized, and that's not
Red.
a name of a wine, but it's just red wine, but red is capital. That's weird.
I don't see anything in there, only...
I hear crazy people just write with random capitals.
No, that's
each other
bad
by the
form,
agreed upon
Astana.
secret phrase. The agreed upon secret phrase. So there's a secret phrase we need to use. Although I must say, I'm very interested that there's an agreed sum that is somewhat high. They don't say it, so I think we should goose it up just a wee bit. Just because, we can. They didn't mention, they did mention amount, so we can say whatever we want.
You could say we were attacked by bandits.
Yeah, he just says,
Which-
I have the agreed sum with me, and while I still protest the amount is somewhat high, I'm willing to pay in full.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, grammar aside, no,
Sorry, that was an Amber Alert.
I heard
Oh,
that.
okay.
Jeez.
I thought that was me for a second. I'm like, wait. Anyway, no, I don't see anything capitalized that's not at a place. Just
Okay.
that we don't have his name, or her name, or their name. Except Aurelio is the person who's getting this item. They don't even
Aurelio.
say that the chalice is the item either.
I want to look
But-
at the body of the person that Umbra was searching the first time, like when she found the letter and the chalice.
Okay, that's this fellow right here.
Yeah. Is he wearing anything in particular that would make him stand out from the others?
He's wearing a little bit more heavier armor. He's more like wearing medium armor, whereas the others are all barely wearing armor at all. They're just like wearing leather and stuff like that. He has at least like a cuirass and stuff on.
Okay, and the guy that we got the secret phrase from? Is he wearing anything?
That was the middle guy. That was the second guy, right?
This guy. Yeah.
No, he's not got
He's just-
anything more.
The guy Astana is currently sitting on.
Like literally. Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, the little phrase that you found on the piece of paper and the other stuff are not with the same person.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to see which one of them seemed to be the one in charge, because that's probably who this guy's been corresponding with.
Yeah, I mean, you're the storyteller. Perhaps you're more clever. Can you take a look?
I'm just gonna go to everybody in turn and try to find if they have
Let me
secret.
put this in everybody's journal, then you can look at it at your leisure. There.
With Umbra's suggestion, I'm gonna go to each corpse and basically search if there's other hidden compartments with other slips of paper, knowing that that's where I found it on one. Maybe it's like a whole document just separated.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do I?
I mean, some of these have been fairly thoroughly searched, but that one hasn't yet.
Okay. I mean, no.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I want to
You
look
found
for
everything
any.
that there is to find, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
I want to look for any like identifying marks on these guys, like if they had a band or any like pins or markings of a cult or like what anything that would like identify them, if that makes sense, as like a
Some
group.
kind of mark that would indicate they were part of something, an organization or whatever.
Yes, that.
Okay. No, not really. I mean, you've all kind of given them a good thorough going over. You roll up sleeves, check necks, things like that. Short of stripping them all bare naked and checking other places.
Yeah, no,
there's nothing of any real
clothes.
commonality. I mean, they're not uniformed in any way. They're all dressed differently.
Okay.
I'm just gonna shrug to Umbra and be like, I didn't really find anything. You guys found quite a bit.
Let's pair the secret phrase again. What does it say specifically?
I hand it over.
Okay.
And it should be in your...
Yeah.
Everyone should have it available. As it is so late, mine's a red wine in a fine mug, but I would like to drink it by the window, if you do not mind.
What kind of name is that, Aurelio?
It's fanciful.
Let's see. I think...
It's not a horse person.
So...
Actually...
Where's everybody from?
Heartlands. Originally.
Not everybody's from the Heartlands.
No, I'm from... Albert's from the Heartlands.
I'm from the Great Steppes.
Okay.
We're from Ezra.
So none of y'all are locals to here, right?
Right.
Aurelio is an... You've heard it in Ezra, for sure.
Oh.
You guys have heard it in Ezra.
Aurelio, okay. I mean, the name Aurelio is crossed out horizontally. That's the only thing that stands out to me.
Could just be a signature.
Could be. It could be a flourish. Yeah.
Flourish.
Yours faithfully.
Aurelio.
Aurelio.
Wields a pen like a sword.
So what's the plan, guys?
Yeah, what do we want to do with all this now that we have it?
I mean, we could try to find the contact and see that through.
We could.
Or we could just go on our merry way, you know?
Well, it seems to me this is a stolen object that somebody would like to get back, and somebody's about to pay a dear sum for it. So if we know who Aurelio is, and we handle that, we can get maybe a double payout on it.
Yes.
True. But think about it this way. We do that, we get our payment, and then that's the end of the story, guys. We could continue on our merry way with the item, identified elsewhere, possibly be pursued by people who want it more, get
and
into
killed,
future
and
conflicts and fights, and, we can get the ball rolling in an epic story of us on the run while people try to chase us for this item that we need to identify.
And nobody did an evaluation on it, right? When I asked if anyone wanted to do that. Okay.
No.
I don't think I can't evaluate this. I know it's valuable. I just don't know how valuable.
It's
I'd
a
like
knowledge
to find
skill.
out.
Everybody's got knowledge. So
We all have it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if anybody's considered themselves remotely interested
good
enough
at
in
it.
it to be able to.
It's like a last.
I think
cause
I
for
might
me.
be. I feel like I might be just because like I'm very interested in what's written on it is more what I'm interested in.
Okay, I mean, if you want to give me an evaluation skill roll on it, you can.
It's kind of like a shot in the dark. I don't have a good evaluate skill, but
Yeah.
I do think I'm interested enough that I
Try.
could. Yeah. No, did not succeed.
Okay, how far did you fail by?
I have a 15.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Very badly. Very badly.
Then I'm going to make a dice roll,
Oh boy.
and I'm not going to explain to you what it's for.
Oh no.
Okay.
I broke it.
If you had to guess, probably maybe 5 gold, 50 silver.
Okay.
Not
Cool.
overly valuable eccentrically from a silver mug type.
Right.
From the standpoint of it being just a silver chalice, probably not overly valuable. Now, that doesn't mean it may not have other values based on age or meaning
Right.
or anything like that, but just purely on a monetary form.
I'm mostly interested in the writing.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to hold on to it till we figure out what the writing is, but a large sum of money is
But you do have
somewhat
a charcoal rubbing of that as well now.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I did
Shall
that.
we? So 2 things. One, it's true value. So when we find Aurelio, we can demand its true value. Second, I agree with Mira that we need to find out what those writings mean. So I'd like to know those 2 things. More so the value, because shiny. But what do you think? Anyone?
I
Anyone?
just think this guy's not on the table, so we can knock him out. He's still got the sum, whether or not he's giving it to us. We can just pop it out of him.
Do we remember any Aurelio at all? Mira? Does that ring a bell at all? Like, do we remember anyone?
I mean,
Any family?
You may have known a few, like,
I was gonna say like that kid from school.
yeah, I mean,
That
like the
one
John
kid,
from
nobody of
school.
significance, let's put it that way.
the one was stuffed in the
No one
in
stands
the
out.
locker. Okay.
The one that we pinned to the tree and left naked.
I
Yes.
am all for this quest to uncover the identity of these images on this chalice. I think it would be foolhardy to just immediately sell it or find the contact and get that over with, because then, we'll be out of that story. We'll be done. What will we do then?
Find another story.
He said he'd be there for weeks.
He said
No,
one
A
week.
full week.
One
a
week.
full week, and we don't know how long. How long do you think they've been on the road? Because if we dally too long,
That you don't know.
You don't typically pay 5 people to go get something if you're not going to wait around a little bit for
No,
it.
he said he was going to wait a week. Which 7 full days or whatever is,
We've been in this area for a little bit. Would somebody from Ezra kind of like, because it's a different, isn't it like an affluent city? Where would
Well,
like
Ezra-
somebody stand out, or like Ezra? Would somebody
No.
stand out from Ezra?
Probably.
Okay.
If they were, depends. I mean, if they were wearing traditional
Yeah,
Ezran
okay.
garb and they were from like one of the cities or one of the main places in Ezra,
Right.
one of the things about Ezra is it is very metropolitan, and they are very, very flamboyant and very fashionable.
That's what I was thinking.
So
Okay.
there is a good chance that if they were not trying to conceal themselves, that they would be identifiable as they would stand out. Yeah.
Okay.
so is there a good evaluator of goods or unknown
go to town and see.
hieroglyphics? Talendon?
We could head to the town that these guys were headed to and not go to where we assume the guy will be and find a
Well, that is
evaluator.
where
Yeah, I know.
the
it's
assumption
not-
is that that's where they were going. Is where,
Right.
yeah.
But just not go to the tavern in question.
I mean, we-
In theory, yeah.
the beast
We
like
could
that.
go to the tavern and try to scope him out as well. He doesn't need to know we're there.
Well, you also
That's true.
have the fact that there's a clue in the message that you can yield to your advantage. I'll say no more than that, but...
Need
I'm
to
hearing
ponder that.
thunder. So that alarm was actually for a severe thunderstorm. Just so
Oh,
you know,
be careful.
Oh,
I
okay.
might be
Yeah.
losing my connection.
Let's
at
hope
any
you
point.
don't. But
Okay.
I've been there many times.
And also, I would like to take a little trip to the little girl's room.
Yeah,
real
we
quick,
can do that if
possible.
we want to.
Yeah.
This would be an
Yes.
appropriate time to take a short
Yeah.
breaky poo. So let's do
Yeah,
that.
if y'all wanted to keep talking, Astana's literally in this just going,
No, it's the ideal
like,
time
this
to.
is not my spot. Y'all have the ideas. I just hit the stuff.
No, this is the perfect time to take a quick break. Yeah. So who needs to escape for a second? Obviously,
Me.
Satch. Let me go ahead and get rid of you two. Oh, Kadaki, you're off. I'm not going anywhere, so I can stick around.
Yeah, I'm good.
So, quick moment for Q&A for you guys. If anybody wants to ask any questions about the system, about what we're doing, if you're brand new, who we are, what we're up to. Grab the cornstarch. We need this plot to thicken. Is there a city that's better than Ezra? Right?
No, there's not.
Yes. So the party killed these couriers off screen. The characters did. The players didn't. This was basically how the campaign started. They were unaware that this was going to happen this way. So yeah, the intro basically is they got a tip off that there was a band of mercenaries / bandits that had killed a courier and taken something of value and was heading towards Talendon. They was like, well, A, they're obviously bastards, and B, we like to profit from bastards. So they got ahead of them and set up an ambush and then basically waylaid those guys as they were traveling towards the town of Talendon. So that's what happened. Sheik's working great.
These guys were bandits, though, right? The courier was killed before these guys.
Yeah,
they
these
killed,
aren't-
They
these
killed
aren't-
the courier.
Yeah, these aren't couriers. These are
No,
other
these are the
bandits.
guys that killed
Yeah.
the courier and took the item.
Okay.
Correct.
And
We're
the item
bandits
was
who
a-
killed other bandits.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So you guys justify... Now, that's one of the reasons I asked earlier today, I was asking about your characters, like, moral ambiguity and stuff like that. And you guys had kind of said, well, look, we don't just kill anybody wantonly, but if there's somebody that we feel deserves it and they're an easy mark. And I was like, okay, well, this fits. Yeah, I mean, you know they stole it. You know that they are killers. So it's like, hey, we're fine retaking something from people that kill. So there you go, Tarek, you're back. Yep. There you go.
How
I'm
did we
gonna-
hear about this? Sorry.
Probably just whenever you guys were in a nearby village, you know, you between you and your sister, Mira and Umbra probably have a way of
Okay.
figuring out who might be on the cusp of, you know, kind of rubbing
Having
a
too
few
much wealth.
shoulders, asking a few questions, buying a few drinks, and finding out if there's anything, you know, interesting going on. And yeah, you
Got
basically
it.
overheard
Okay.
one of the people told you, yeah, there was like earlier today they brought the body of a courier in and said that, you know, he had some, you know, he was carrying something, but nobody knows what it was, and apparently he was attacked on the road and by a group of bandits or something. They killed him and probably stole it. And you were like, okay. And once you knew in the direction, they were like, well, hey, if this has only just happened, we can get ahead of these guys. So that's kind of the gist of
Also,
it.
Prepper, Nat's character is literally a bandit.
Yes.
We are not a team of procurers. We are a team of
Yeah,
two
she
bandits.
is a bandit.
No, just one. Just me.
Well, I mean, a bandit and a thief.
thief.
Yeah, and her
Yeah.
sister is not exactly beyond
Thief.
the ethical ethical swaying either. So it's like they're not vile. They don't just kill and rob innocent people. But this, again, people that have already killed and stolen, they're fair game to these guys. So they're like
the other guys. Albert is not a procurer. He is he goes after stories. That's his whole gimmick. If there's a good story in it, he will follow.
Right.
But he's true neutral in every sense of the word. Like that's how he decides where he wants to go.
Yeah.
Which is why he offers all the options and says, "What do you guys want to do?"
Yeah, it likes to lay out the choices and then kind of go with the flow, right?
Yep. And Astana is apparently just a cold-blooded murderer.
No, okay, so like she's been in battles, she's seen death. It's not strange to her.
Yep.
So like,
she's not a wanton killer, but has no problem doing it when it's necessary.
She has no fear
What's
really
up, Mia?
to fighting or dying. She just sees this as, I don't know, life and how it goes.
Something to do.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, guys. Yeah, so what are we deciding? You've taken the rubbing of the chalice, so no matter what happens, you have that.
Should we head back to town?
Yes.
Which town?
Well, back to town.
Yeah, back to
Talendon?
town. What does that mean?
Talendon. Yeah.
Okay, so head to
Talendon.
Talendon. Yeah, that's the way they were going, so you haven't been there yet.
It's the closer one, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to mention, who the hell, I mean, it was a small village that you heard about the courier, and you only knew that he was taking it to somebody in Salah's home. That's like saying, hey, somebody stole something, let's go find the person in New York City this belongs to. It would be so unlikely to be able to locate who it was unless you showed it around and it was something of serious note. Well, then you might have to answer, how come you've got it? So, yeah. Okay, then. So, to Talendon it is.
To Talendon.
To Talendon. It's only a model. Okay, upon arriving at Talendon. So, Talendon, it takes you pretty much... You ambush these guys fairly early. But it takes you pretty much the rest of the day following the roads to get to Talendon. So it's kind of like late afternoon, early evening when you arrive. As the road clears the tree line, you can see Talendon sprawling out ahead of you. Talendon is a reasonably sized town situated between the forest to the east, which is where you're coming from, and a river to its west. Made up of some 60 or so buildings, and has sensible roadways dividing it up into well-planned out sections. The buildings all seem well constructed, with wooden frames, stone secured walls using mud and wattle, and thick roofs that are thatched. It's still before sundown. You literally have just come to the outskirts of the town. And it's laid out there ahead of you. Anybody want to kind of do anything specific at this point before wandering down into town? There is a scan roll or a scan check if you guys want to kind of like survey it. Normally I wouldn't offer these things up, but because it's a brand new system and you're not familiar with everything yet, I'm just kind of letting you know what some of your choices might be. Scan is different from search in the fact that scan is you can just kind of observe the area and see if anything stands out, whereas search, of course, is more digging down and dirty.
I would. I mean, just to get a lay of the land, especially if we've not been there before.
Okay, yeah, then go ahead. Give me a scan roll.
That is a
I
fail.
feel like I would do the same. I was about to say, I think I would, just because we don't...
I would. I'm the cautious one. I'm definitely gonna.
All right, so Albert and Astana, you both kind of like have a good look. You're noticing things like how well kind of like laid out it is, how the architecture all looks so very similar, stuff like that.
We got funnel clouds over here. Is it okay if I shelter in place?
Sure. Do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna have to drop out for a bit here. There's tornadoes.
Okay.
Okay, be
Alrighty.
careful.
Yeah, you go. You gonna leave the camera on or? Okay, we're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
go.
just gonna leave it open so it
Right,
doesn't.
I'm gonna go ahead and shutter you. That's not good.
Hopefully.
I mean,
gotta be
Nice.
safe. Safety first. Okay. Hopefully y'all will be well. If the camera drops, then we'll check on things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
or if we hear screaming. Okay.
oh yeah, no, she's.
So Umbra, what is your scan?
That was my scan is a 30 and I rolled a 41.
Okay.
How sad.
I'll tell you something a little more, seeing as you're not terribly failing, and this isn't so unobvious.
Okay.
The first thing that kind of catches your eye is, even though it is a large town and it is before sundown, not a single person on the streets, and it's friggin' quiet. Everybody else is looking at the buildings and structure and all that, and you're more looking around to see, ooh, who here might be viable for a quick pickpocketing, and then you're like, wait a second, there isn't anybody here to pickpocket, like, there's nobody here.
So Albert
Quiet.
kind of nonchalantly is just gonna say, "Oh, it's nice out here. Look at these roads, so straight, and angles."
It's quiet. Too quiet. Why is there no one out?
What do you
You
mean?
guys are up
And I'm gonna kind of look around,
north.
oblivious to this
Do you
reality.
see any people outside?
You're right. This is unusual.
There is no one. Do you not hear people talking, clinking of coin?
Yeah, there's
Music,
no carts, there's no
nothing.
bustle, no hustle, nothing.
Maybe there's some like community meeting going on. You know, like
That's what it is.
a public service announcement kind of thing. You know.
Can I look more closely at the buildings nearest us and see, like, is there movement behind, like, curtains or, like, anything that would suggest...
Yeah, if you're going to specifically do that, that would still be a scan.
Okay.
Give me another scan roll, but aimed probably at this building and this building right here.
Yeah, something close.
Ooh.
Success by
Okay,
a lot.
you may check it.
Yes.
Not
It's a good
only
success.
are there no movement of curtains, there's no light either. And as you kind of like glance further down the street, this is the sort of time where you'd expect people to be, you know, as the sun is going down, now's when people would be lighting their lanterns or their candles and stuff like that. There's not a single light anywhere in any of the houses down the streets.
I'm gonna put my hand on, like, just on the rapier so it's ready to draw.
Okay.
Umbra, make sure that it is tucked well out of sight.
And with that hint, I think I'm going to be the first person to cast something.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Gonna pop the old magic out. Okay, so what spell do you wish to cast?
I would like to do Hide Wealth.
Oh, what a useful spell.
That's why I took the chalice.
Love it.
I figured you were better at, like, keeping these things.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
could copy and paste that into the little...
If
thing,
it's
if that
not
would be helpful.
too big a thing, you
No,
certainly can.
it's not.
But,
No, it's not. Thankfully, it's not that big.
okay,
There we
there you go. So you're going to be using, so basically for mechanics here, so you're going to take off, well, not yet you're not. You're going to try to cast the spell first.
Yes.
So you could use either your affinity to earth or or your affinity to fertility to cast this spell. In your case, I'm pretty sure it's going to be earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it would
when
be the
cast
better
upon
one.
an inanimate bundle of goods, the size of a more for the bundle becomes invisible for 1 day. So yeah, you can basically, like, you can put it, like, if you have a small bag, anything you want that you can fit in the bag, you can cast it on the bag.
Okay.
Or you could specifically cast it just on the chalice if that's what you wanted to do. But basically, yeah, once you cast it for a full day, they're arbitrarily invisible, they can't be sensed, can't be located with simple magic spells, but anybody specifically looking for any kind of magical aura, if they had the ability, could possibly sense the aura of the spell, but not what it's hiding, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Go ahead and roll. What is your earth affinity?
It is 60.
Okay, so you need to roll below 60 to successfully
Okay.
cast the spell.
Okay, so rolling a 100.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay, 64. It doesn't quite work, but even though it doesn't work, that doesn't mean that you cannot try to recast it. Let me see something.
Does that
here.
cost me a spell
I wanted
point?
to just remind
or magic point?
myself. It doesn't. I don't think it costs you anything unless you fumble. Let me double check though.
Okay.
Let's see. Specific notes here. On spell casting. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Ba-da-ba-bum. Okay, yeah. So basically, a spell failure above 90% burns the magic point as the energy was kind of like brought to the surface, but then you lose control of it, so it escapes you. Unless it results in a fumble, in which case you burn a magic point and roll on the magic fumble table. So as long as you didn't roll over 90, no. So you can absolutely just try to cast this again.
Yes.
Of course, in combat, failing to cast a spell has consequences. Standing on the edge of the road, not so much in this particular moment.
So you're just
Good to
gonna
know.
you're gonna hear me over your shoulder. No, you gotta flick the wrist.
Shh. I've got this. Shush. I'm going to try again. Yeah.
Okay, try again. Nope.
What the fuck?
No,
Hey,
You're
see,
breaking
you're obviously
my
rusty. You haven't
concentration.
cast this in a
Shush.
while.
you
Shush.
got it. This more.
Third
I
time.
keep
You're doing
looking
this.
out. I'm gonna look outward and make sure nobody's looking at us. Like, see if I can sense anybody.
Yeah, there's
here.
nobody looking
Look
at
like
you.
this.
That's why I'm just making sure nobody comes back.
Trying
Like,
to cast this.
I am absolutely like leering over your shoulder as I
Yeah.
watch you.
I mean, you have to watch because it's part of the spell.
You hear
have
Conrad,
either
like,
you
go-
have to watch.
Conrad's
Yeah.
like, diddling. Oh, sorry.
Shh. 1, 2, 3.
You're just getting worse,
You're
Umbra.
getting-
How is that possible?
Nerves have clearly set in.
Okay, I'm sorry. Listen, I will shut up. Do it.
Just do it.
Number 4.
Close, but no cigar. What are the odds? You have a 60% chance, and you've failed 4 times.
Do you
For
want me
God's sake.
to okay.
Yeah, I mean, unless you roll over 90 or fumble, you can keep on going. It's just taking time, is all. Finally! Yeah, finally you remember that little subtle word change or
Yes.
tiny flip. Okay, so yeah, how does your spell manifest? What happens when you cast the spell? So presumably you're holding the proverbial items in one hand and doing whatever over
Yeah,
the
this
other
is
hand.
going to be my bag because I don't have that much stuff yet.
Yeah, okay.
So it's going to be, just like this, and it's going to look like it's crumbling to anybody else. It's just crumbling away.
Okay,
So anybody who's watching sees a silhouette of it, but it just looks like earth just crumbling.
okay, so
bits.
yeah, it kind of just like falls apart, like almost like in little crumbly pieces, and then
Yes.
appears to be nothing. Okay, cool. All right.
Nice.
See, I got it eventually.
You did, and it's beautiful. And I'm gonna like
Thank
clap
you.
you on the shoulder like a friend does.
Yes.
You know.
And be careful with your stuff because the same thing might happen to it.
It'll crumble.
It might take 4 or 5 times, but yes, it might.
And you may check your Earth Affinity box.
Okay. 5
In the
times, it was
hopes
worth
that
it.
maybe you'll get better at it.
Hopefully. Oh my god.
All right, so you've hidden
5.
away the item.
Okay. And do I subtract the magic point?
You deduct 1 magic point from your magic
Okay.
point total, yes.
Okay. So that goes. Okay, and I'm gonna note what I did it for, the
Yeah. there you go.
1 hide wealth. Okay.
Good deal.
Oh,
Okay, after
yay, I
that
finally
small
did it.
fiasco on the edge of Caledon.
Give me a break. I'm a newbie here. It's okay.
I'm gonna like take a few steps in town, like
Okay, yeah, so you
kind
guys
of
are
cautious, but like
right here on the outskirts, just kind of like wandering in a fraction.
yeah. Like I want to scope if there's any like obviously we know there is one place like a tavern,
Uh-huh.
but if there's any other taverns or any like places of business that look like they were open or
Gotcha.
anything,
Well,
like-
with this town being the size that it is,
yes,
I'm gonna
not
kind
very
of,
big.
well, for a
It's pretty good, but like
it's pretty, yeah. I mean, it's no city, but it is still, as I said, it's over 60 plus buildings.
Yeah.
You know, it's fairly expansive to that degree.
and also like a temple, like a temple for what cults.
So
are.
you can probably see over the rooftops to the direct south of you a building down here.
Okay.
That is tall enough to probably indicate that it's probably some kind of church or something like that.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to lead us forward then.
Okay. So yeah, you're gonna kind of just follow the road, and then begin to head south, or
Do
are
we
you
want to
gonna-
head to the temple, or do we want to walk around the whole town first?
Well, I think the best bet is a tavern.
Well, you don't know where that
Congregate
is
there.
yet.
Yeah, we don't know where that one is.
Well, you just got to find the building that has the word tavern on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Um,
mean, you can find it, I'm sure, but you can't see it from here. is
I'll
my
head
point.
south first. I'll head south first.
Okay, so you guys are going to kind of wander down here. Okay. Well, a lot of the houses, the smaller buildings, are definitely, dwellings.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you follow down here, the building to your immediate right has like a little sign hanging over the door with what looks like a little bottle, with a little whiff of smoke coming up from out of it. And then underneath it is labeled, and it is apothecary.
Okay. Is the door open or closed?
The door is currently closed.
Okay.
I'm without any prompt. I'm just gonna walk up to it and rap on the
Okay.
door.
You rap on the door.
Hello.
Nobody answers you. Maybe it's closed. Maybe it's sundown, and
Is there any light coming from the windows?
none
at all?
whatsoever.
No, nobody's got light. I've already looked at all that.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
okay.
you're just
Which is
having
why
that
I'm
reaffirmed as
so
you go
nervous.
further into town. That's
It's
more
nothing.
reaffirmed. Like no lights anywhere.
Yeah, it's what made me so
Okay.
nervous initially was like there's no lights, there's no movement, we should hide things and be
Would you
cautious.
like to- Would you like to go in?
I'm gonna try the
Let's-
door handle to see if it opens.
Okay. Yep. The door is not locked. You swing it open.
And
Oh.
there's darkness inside.
I mean, it's light enough to see because it's still not sundown yet.
Got it.
But yeah, it's pretty much you kind of walk in, you see rows and rows of dried herbs and stuff. You can see compounds and powders in jars on shelves. There's like a large counter, which probably is where the apothecary serves his customers. And behind him, you can see pestles and mortars and contraptions made of brass or bronze. But there's nobody here.
Not gonna lie, girls, this is interesting. And I'm gonna walk back out without taking anything.
Okay.
Shall
Look
we?
down this other street.
Back on the street. Yeah, there's a street directly to your immediate left, or you can continue down the road to the south, the east or south.
I'm noting this. Are you closing the door?
Like, kind of half close.
So like,
Okay.
you pull
You know,
it
like how
behind
you-
you, but you don't
Yeah.
really give a shit if it latches or not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
you know
I'm-
how sometimes people close the door, but they kind of just let it swing, and how wherever it lands, it lands. That's what.
Yeah.
I'm doing.
I'm noting it because in case we have to shelter, that's where I'm gonna say we're going back
You've
to.
acknowledged that
if we
there
need
is an
to.
apothecaries and there's no one in it.
Okay,
Okay.
moving on.
Yeah, just keep going
Well,
south.
I will say
Yeah, I'm gonna
this,
keep going south.
because it should be noted so when you go in there, in the right-hand side behind, on the back door, behind where there was another door, or there is another door.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Okay,
like
I'm just
actually
pointing
go
that out,
further
yeah.
in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
there is another door.
Yeah.
Probably to like a residence or a workroom. Because it's just the shop front that we saw, right?
Correct.
When we peeked in. Yeah.
Yeah, in most
Can we
places
try
like
the
this,
back
unless
door?
it's a very specifically designed building, in this kind of day and age, most people usually live either behind or above the store
It would be
itself.
like their house or their workroom, yeah.
Yeah.
Being a traveler, being that we've
Not in
all
all
traveled
cases,
from
but in some
elsewhere,
cases.
Gore, is there any way to know if there's a particular holiday that would be applicable to why there's no one in town? Like they might be doing something? Because we all know that there are holidays galore based on the different cults, right?
Correct.
Like special days.
d-
Is there any way
do
to?
any of you have...
Yeah, that's what
Here's the
I'm
thing. You're in Salazar. Does anybody have a homeland lore for Salazar?
asking. No.
Then probably
don't think so.
not.
This is why I was trying to go to the church. So I was like, let's
Oh.
find the church. Let's go there. They're gonna know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
so you want to keep going south?
Unless somebody pulls me off of that course for some reason. Like, I'm gonna look and see, obviously, if
Well,
you glance down the road and see
if
the
you
tavern.
glance down the road, you'll see a few buildings that are recognizable. So once you kind of guys are here, you
Yeah.
glance down. This building immediately in front of you to your right, it's got kind of like a little symbol that has like hanging from it. This looks like a little set of scales, which would indicate that it is a general store or a general merchant. Past it, on the right here, is a large building that would probably be the town meeting place or the town hall. And next to it, across the street, is a building that has a swinging sign that has got what looks like a decrepit bird walking with a walking stick.
I'm
And the
following
symbol
Mira.
indicates that it is not only a tavern, but it is also an inn.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
that
the
would
old
be
crow.
the Old Crow Inn and Tap House.
I'm following Mira, so if she wants to go south to the temple, I'm not.
Yeah, but you can mentally make notes that that's where it is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. As you continue south, to your right is a boat maker, which is not something you see very often unless there is a lake or, in this case, a large river next to the town. This town itself, Talendon, obviously, being that on one side of it is all forests, on the other side is river, you can kind of get an idea how it sustains itself, how it flourishes, as it were. Again, back in these days, no one builds a town in the middle of nowhere for no reason, right? There's got to be something to... and this is well situated because it's got trees, which means animals, and a river, which means fish and trade and stuff like that. So, yep. In fact, at the back of the boat makers, you can see that there is runners, and a boat is being built, and the runners would literally take it from the back down a sloping hill and straight into the water.
Okay.
Okay?
I was wondering if there was water nearby.
Yeah, there's a river
Okay.
to the west.
Okay.
And finally, when you get down to here, there is a temple and church to Zephalgar, the storm god, which is not uncommon, of course, because Zephalgar is the main religion that is worshipped in Salazar. Not the only one by any means, but it is the most prominent.
Okay.
Oh. So quiet for Zephalgar, eh? I'm gonna nudge Conrad.
Yeah, I mean, it
Kinda
is very
playfully.
quiet.
Is the temple also very, very quiet, like everything else?
Seems to be.
Okay, I'm gonna try and walk in.
Okay, you go up. There's two large arching wooden doors. They open with a flow, leading into a large kind of religious antechamber with wooden pews lined all the way up. There's a handful of little fonts on the sides of the walls, decoratively carved. There is like a dais at one end with like a little plinth and stuff situated up. And then hanging from the ceiling, you can kind of see symbolic bolts of lightning that they're made of wood, but they've been painted golden and things like that. It's a very stereotypical low-end temple to Zephalgar. All the trimmings are here, all of the trappings are here. It's just very rustic. You know, again, the building is made of stones that have been held together with Watland Orban mud. It's a thatched roof. This is not like a big stone glorified temple in any way, a big church.
I figured it out, guys.
But it is also, yes, very, very quiet.
I figured it out. I got it.
Yes. What?
We died. And they killed us. The guys that we thought we killed, they killed us, and we're in the spirit realm.
I don't
Are
think
we-
so.
Are we corporeal in the spirit realm?
Well, I mean, we might think we are.
Conrad is-
You know.
I'm gonna poke him.
Checking himself
Ow.
at this point.
Ow.
We
okay.
aren't in the spirit realm then.
Well, maybe, you know, how do we know what the spirit realm is? Have you ever been to the spirit realm?
Have you?
No. Which is why I'm offering this as an idea.
Great
I
story.
don't want to get into philosophics with you right now.
It's not philosophical. It's just what is happening.
I'm gonna
gonna
like
smirk.
shout into the church and be like, "Hello, is anyone there?"
You get the familiar echo that you would expect in such a large open space.
That's what I was thinking.
But other than your own voice echoing back at you, there is no other reply.
Does it look like okay, so we were fairly devout followers of our cult
Mhm.
growing up. Does it look like they were like having any sort of worship? Is there something that indicates that like people were here and then left recently, or does it look like bare, nobody's here, it's deserted?
Ooh.
I like where you're going with
Give
this.
me a scan roll.
Okay. Scan.
Yeah, because
I did not know I would use this skill as much.
Okay, that's a success.
That's a big success.
If you haven't checked it, do so.
I have
But
a
I think you already have.
55.
Nice.
So you kind of glance around. There's nothing knocked over. Everything seems to be in its place.
Mhm.
The pews seem well worn. You can definitely see a few kind of muddy footprints on the floor still where it hasn't been cleaned particularly recently.
Mhm.
So you get the feeling that it's probably fairly well frequented, but just not now.
Does it look like there was a service happening recently, or does it look like it's just a closed, like, I think like
No, I mean the fact that there is
the pieces
still
aren't out,
some kind
like-
of muddy residue on the floor gives you an idea that it's been fairly recently used.
okay.
It's not been
Okay.
like
Where are the
abandoned or anything like
footprints?
that for a long period of time.
Also, Gore, with a skill roll of 55, I think 11 is a special.
Yes.
It's like just at the edge.
Oh, really?
Oh, yours is 55. Yeah, then it is.
Yeah.
11
Yes.
is. Okay.
I didn't
In
know that.
that case, I will say, as you kind of glance around, you notice that there is a Zephogarian prayer book still open on one of the pews, like just laying there, but it is sitting on the pew. It's not like cascaded to the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can I see what it's opened? Like, if I look at it, is it open to anything special?
Um,
And are these normally in churches or like temples? Are these just normally sitting there?
They're books. So, for example, you wouldn't typically have. It's not like a modern day church in our way where there's
Right, that's
Bibles
what I
and
was-
stuff. Yeah. Probably
it
the
wasn't.
priest was sitting here reading that book.
Okay. Yes, so.
But what I would say is, books are valuable.
Yeah.
You don't just
That's what I was thinking.
accidentally leave your book laying out in the open. So
That's why I was
that
thinking
does
this
have
was
a little bit
weird.
of a weird red flag to it for sure.
And I also, like, I'm not sure I want to take it, but not sure I don't want to take it. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I should take this for safekeeping.
Maybe you should just, maybe it depends on your motives for taking it that are going to matter.
But also, like, this
For the
is
right
not.
reasons, maybe Zephyr won't mind.
This is not my church, not my temple, not my cult.
Not my bag.
Is
Not
it
my
open
zoo,
to
not
anything
my
in
monkey.
particular?
Sorry?
Is it open to anything in particular of note?
Well, you did get a special. Yes. It is open to a prayer to Zephyr, obviously. But a specific prayer that was, if you kind of read through it, it is very much written in the flair that would be. But let me see. Do you have? Because this is probably. I'm gonna make a dice roll here.
Okay.
Random roll. No, I'm not. You got a special. I'm going to say by default that it's going to go your way. Because you got a special. So I was going to decide because it's probably written in Salazarian. So I didn't know if you can read and write Salazarian. But Zephyr is also a very widely known religion. So we're going to say that this one was written in the common tongue at least.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a prayer of. It's basically a prayer asking Zephyr to bless and protect the town.
Okay. Ooh.
Where are the footprints going? Can I tell? Are they leaving or are they
there's
going
just a few
somewhere
of them that kind
inside?
of like wander off to various different pews. You know, again, the roads. If it had rained or anything like recently, with these roads being kind of dirt roads, there's a lot of mud. Temples and churches are usually well cleaned. This didn't get cleaned, obviously, recently. Or at least it didn't get cleaned between the last service and when something happened to where there was no one left to clean it.
Are they leading to any back areas or like basements?
No, they were just going
temple
into
basement?
the
No.
pews.
Oh, just the pews. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're
It was
going in.
just people coming into,
Okay.
and then a few kind of leave. A few
Okay.
might come in, a few might be going out, stuff like that.
Okay.
But I will say this: you can give me a tracking skill roll if you want. To see if you can see if anything stands out in that way.
It's not very good, but I can try.
Hey, you're looking. This is how you improve stuff. I mean,
I'm gonna try.
you
I'm
succeed
gonna
by
do it.
learning.
Yeah, okay, so track. Okay. It's a 10 for me.
This is
so
not what
it's
you're
gonna-
good at, right? This is not
This
a
is
thing
not what
you're
I'm
really
made
good
for.
at. Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I'm definitely not made for that.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
what I said stands. It's just going
Nope.
in and out of pews and stuff
I
like
got
that.
nothing.
Nothing
Nothing.
interesting. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Worth a shot. Okay.
Yeah, what else do you guys want to do?
Oof.
There's a small door in the bottom left, and there is a door in the far right, which would be the northern part. So there's a southern door and a northern door in this particular church.
Well, I was hoping someone would be here who could help us find a direction.
Good idea. I guess.
North or south door?
Oh, you guys want to go further into the? Oh,
Yes.
I'll take north, you take south. See if
Oh, I'm
anybody's
not
around.
leaving you. I'm not splitting up.
Just to see if anybody's in there. Poke your head in.
The last time we split up, I didn't see you for more than a year. We're not splitting up.
Look, it was one time we're in the same building. I'm gonna head to the north door and like just
Okay.
peek my head in.
All right.
Famous last words.
You just open the door, peer through there. It's like a little study area. You can see, again, there's some wooden benches and stuff. Couple more books on little pews and stuff like that. There's some documentation kind of like laid around near some of the pews, but they're like one sheet of paper sort of thing. The southern door looks like more like a little living quarter. Very simple, very kind of plain. Probably accommodated at most 2 or 3 people.
so I stay by the main entrance with Connor
Okay.
and Asana, who I'm assuming is just hanging out too.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching as you guys converse and go both north and then south. Almost like I'm taking notes with my eyes. I'm not writing anything down, but
Yeah, you're just observing.
I'm observing like crazy.
Remembering the story. Later.
Well, and mine doesn't look like it's an office space, right? It looks like a place maybe where like
yeah,
a
it's
more-
probably just like a... Maybe where they held small group or
that's what I was
yeah.
thinking. Some small
Yeah, something more intimate as
Yeah.
opposed to like, maybe
The big-
this is where you might have heard confession if that was a thing, or give
Right.
kind of advice to people.
but it doesn't look like it's an office space that he would have like had
No,
notes or yeah, I'm not interested
nothing
that much.
overly.
I don't want to mess with Zephalgar, especially while we're down here in his region. So I'm not going to take anything from here. I am smarter than that.
Yeah, robbing temples. There's a certain type of person that has the nerve to do that.
Not us. Nope.
Not us.
So, okay. Yeah, so yet again, kind of something fairly innocuous and weird.
Yeah, very weird.
As you guys come out, I would like all of you to make another scan check for me.
Okay.
Scanning. Check. I can do
no.
that.
Oh,
That's a
did not
success.
succeed.
Okay.
Mine is 40.
Nice.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Whoa.
What is your skill, Tara?
For scanning
Yeah.
is 30.
30. So 1 to 6 is a special. So that's a special. So if you haven't already checked
Heyo.
scan, obviously scan it. Check it.
Yes.
Something very strange just happened. You kind of see it very clearly. Albert kind of catches it as a glance. A shadow kind of flitted across the floor in front of you, like across the road. To Albert, it was just a very kind of floating, just a glancing, like little shadowy shape that just went whoosh. Umbra very much looked like a person's shadow, the way it was stretched and elongated, like it was walking. But there's nothing
God.
there that is actually casting that shadow.
It's Slender Man. Oh my god. Okay.
What was that?
Albert, maybe I might have judged your reaction about
It
being
kind
in
of
the spirit
goes
realm too
across the
soon.
road and close to this building, and once it gets under the eave of the building, which is kind of has its own shadow, it vanishes.
I'm sorry, I missed your ping. Which one was it?
The building right here.
Yeah, it's like right.
Okay.
Yeah, once it kind of got close to the building, whereas the shadow from the building is kind of casting out as well, as it walked to where that is, it kind of vanished and blended into the building shadow. But just for a brief moment, you saw it. It is kind of... the sun is going down, so there's still enough light to cast shadows. But there won't be for a whole lot longer.
There's a humanoid spirit that just went under that building, and I will point in the direction that I saw it going.
You said spirit.
What?
See, I saw a little
I-
weird flit. But
I said I might have judged too quickly, okay?
I-
Sorry.
sorry, the
I
voice
would
in
like
my
to
head was
look
also
for that now.
talking. I missed that.
Okay.
I'd like to look. I didn't see anything, so I'm gonna like look at it and be saying, I don't know what you saw, but I don't
Give me a scan
think
roll.
I see anything. Oh, again.
No, you can if you weren't looking before. Or did you already roll?
Well, I mean, I did already
Oh,
roll,
you did.
and I
Okay.
failed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought you.
I
Had...
rolled and failed. No, I'm
Gotcha,
just like
yeah.
looking more closely.
No.
I was just like flavoring it. Like I'm looking more
None
closely.
of you see anything anymore.
I don't think there's anything there.
Could have been a
I
bird
assure
maybe
you it
flew
was
across
there.
and just gave that weird illusion. Maybe the bird flew really low.
What is that building? If I walk closer to it, can I see what type of building it is? It looks rather large. So
It is large, but it doesn't seem to be marked as if it is any kind of store, shop, or service place. It looks just like a large house.
Oh. Okay.
Yep, there's like a door here on the side. Then there's also a door on the front.
Thing went?
Pretty much in line with that, yeah. But you never saw a door open or close.
No.
Which you definitely would have been, being that close.
Yeah. Like to try to see if we can go in the building.
Are you knocking first, or are we just walking in?
So I would knock.
I'm not sure. Just thought I'd check.
I'll knock 3 times. Just
rap on the door. As you might guess, absolutely no response.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you heard anything, but I think I heard somebody. I'm going to try to open the door. I didn't actually hear anybody. I'm just saying, I thought I heard someone said, come in.
You open the door. It's a fairly large dwelling. To the right, it looks like they've actually added on like another small wing, which would be this little jutty out piece here on the south. Maybe like a little mother-in-law suite or something like that. Which is why it's considerably larger than everything else. But it's a fairly nice, well-to-do home. Whoever lived here probably isn't rich, but certainly isn't poor by any standards. You look around, there's some nicely carved furniture, plates, neatly lined up. It's very clear the house is lived in because you can see that there's like a large wooden bowl with water and some dishes floating in it. There's a few kind of pieces of food on a plate still, like a piece of bread and cheese that's got flies kind of buzzing, and there's a small mouse, little rodent creatures eating on the piece of cheese at the plate.
So how old does the cheese look? Is it like fresh, or does it look kind of like it's been there for a few days?
You kind of go over to take a look at it. The mouse scarpers, taking a very small piece of cheese with it. The cheese looks like it's kind of gone rather hard. The bread is just on the verge of having elements of mold growing on it. So
this could have been here for a few days.
Maybe a few days, yes.
Potentially. Because
certainly,
they're well-to-do.
Yeah,
but
certainly.
Why would they have moldy cheese?
Certainly, this hasn't been here a long time, but it wasn't yesterday or today.
How were the angles of the chairs? Did they look like they were positioned like they got up suddenly, or were they neatly in place?
So two of the chairs are kind of pulled out some away, including the one that's in front of the plate.
Okay.
But not enough that anybody that was sitting there would have gotten up and moved back. But surely if they were going to put the chair back, they'd have put it all the way under the table like the other two chairs. It's almost like it's conveniently positioned where someone might have been sitting there and then they weren't.
Yes. That's what I was trying to determine. And then by the door, like, would they have kind of cloaks hanging up there?
Yeah, there's probably some like weather cloaks and stuff like that hanging.
The cloaks, boots, are they still there? Yes. Or do they look like there's some empty pegs by any chance?
Maybe, but there's enough clothing still there that makes you think at very least everybody didn't leave this house. Okay.
Anything in there? You hear from outside.
Would you like some semi-stale cheese and slightly going moldy bread?
No thanks. I'll rely on what I got. I'm a person.
I'm
I'll
a
back
person.
out. I'll close the door and I'll relay like what I saw, like
Okay.
about the food, the chairs being out of kind of askew, the cloak shoe situation. Just I'll relay that to the party. So since they didn't come in with me, that's what I will share is this is looking a little odd. Either they left suddenly or were they sucked up by the storm god or something. I don't know.
I get
Something
this.
might have been called as the rapture, perhaps. I don't know if they have that in this
In
cult.
theory, it could be. Who knows? Who knows what gods are up to?
So I'll just say it feels to me that if it was Zephlagar, it would be a little bit messier out here, you know?
Yeah,
The
wrath
tide
of God
take
kind
them
of
away?
stuff.
It would take them
Thunder,
by,
lightning,
by
and
the water.
brimstone.
Get sucked into a tornado, roof damage, shingles, you know.
To be fair, this is
Hold on.
something that Malamdol would probably do.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
All
much
of that.
worse. Much worse.
Practical jokey.
Practical joke, make everybody disappear for a
You
little
slip on a
bit.
banana skin
Full
and break your neck
giggles.
type stuff.
Can either of you ask your god, you know, being of that persuasion?
Don't know
I
that
I don't
any of
think
you
we're that
are-
close.
Don't think any of
I'm
you are
not
that
that close
close to
yet.
have that level of.
If our brother was here, perhaps, but no,
Yeah.
not us.
Seeing as he's
Um,
not here.
Tavern?
I mean, you know
Yeah,
where it is now.
Let's go. Yeah, let's see if there's
Unless
going to
you
be
want
anyone.
to kind of like try to do a loop to see other buildings, you could do that on the
Let-
way.
I'm before we go into the tavern, pull your cloaks up around your heads, and we should maybe use the secret phrase to see if something happens.
Well, the secret phrase, I don't think it's the entire thing. Is the phrase
I think it is. It sounds like it is.
the full paper?
I'm gonna
Reading
hold
it
on to
fully?
one of the wineskins from what we took,
Okay.
and like pull my hood up and like walk in
Where are
and
you
kind of
walking in?
survey the tavern that we passed.
Oh, okay. So before we get that far, that was what I was
Yeah.
asking: is are you
Oh,
going
yeah.
back the way you came, or
We're
did
going
you
back
wanna,
the way we came.
you didn't want to kind of like take a detour so that you could kind of see what some of the other
Ooh.
stuff was?
I'm absolutely going to be covering.
I mean, you do what you
Yeah,
want. I'm just saying
yeah.
it's a.
Do we
Yeah,
want
I'll-
to see the rest of the town?
I think we should just go where people most likely would be.
Either the
The tavern,
town hall or the tavern.
town hall. Well, the town hall is before the tavern,
It's across
so then we could peek at the, town
street.
hall.
They're across the street from each other,
Yes,
right?
I
This is the
guess- I thought
tavern.
So
Oh
this is the
no,
town hall?
I'm sorry. That's the tavern here. I apologize.
Oh.
That's number,
ah,
number 6. That was the butcher's. I thought my 6 was an
Okay,
8.
okay.
That's my bad.
So so town hall is here and
Yes.
tavern's here. Got it.
Yes,
All right.
that's right. That's the tavern
so
here.
So
we'll pass
tavern,
by it.
town hall first, sure.
Yeah, we
Sure,
can do the
on the way.
Okay.
town hall and then the tavern. We'll walk back the way we came and then turn to go down
Yes.
that road.
Alrighty. Yeah. So, town hall probably pretty much the largest building here in town. Certainly larger than the church width-wise.
I will open the door and go inside.
Okay. Yeah, you
Not
walk
going to
in.
be far behind
There are-
you.
It looks like to the left and the right are a few doors leading into smaller buildings or smaller rooms. The
Okay.
main area in the thing is just there are rows and rows of chairs lined out. And then again, another less... I wouldn't really call this a dais more than as a small stage or platform. Obviously, you can see there's also like a little plinth and a small table and with a chair behind it, quite a high-backed chair. And sitting in front of the chair on the table is like a little gavel and a hammer, you know.
I'd like to go up and look at that table and
Okay.
see if there's any like papers on it or anything.
Um,
Like what was on the docket for the town or something.
gotcha.
know.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Yeah.
There's nothing like that on the table. There's no
Okay.
drawers or anything, so this wasn't probably where they kept documents. And there certainly wasn't any here at the moment. You kind of glance around the room and you don't see anything blown across the floor or
Okay.
discarded either.
I'm picturing like somebody called a town meeting and then made everybody vanish from
Could have been.
this spot. That's what I was
Could
thinking.
have
I was like,
been.
they left their papers.
Yep.
Nope, not that lucky. Okay.
Any protest signs?
Nothing yet.
Anybody protesting anything?
As you guys walk back out, you just see Albert looking at the grounds, trying to discern shadow flitting.
Right now,
not
it's
very
actually
well.
kind of a little overcast, so there's really
Yeah, no,
it's
but
kind
he's
of a little
still trying.
too dark.
He's still trying. He's
Yeah,
like,
obviously.
oh, little vague hint of a shadow. No,
Conrad's
it's gonna-
probably just looking at you. Goes, oh, what are we looking at?
I'm just moving my
Are there
hands
any
around to see if I
torches
cast a shadow that I
nearby?
can then see move.
Any
Yeah.
torches?
Torches or lanterns that we could carry?
You could pull. I mean, there's a couple that you could pull down off of like the hooks. Like so, in the town hall, there's some hooks, and they've got some like little lanterns hanging from the hooks, so you could pull one of those off, and if you gotta light it up or whatever, if you have a means to light it. I don't think any of you have anything like that, but surely one of you has something to light something with. You guys live an outside life. Nobody's running around without the means to light a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would like to take a lantern then.
Okay.
I most likely have a lantern because I have 70 golden items, which I haven't
Picked.
held out yet.
Yeah, that's
so-
fine. Yeah.
Well, if you have a lantern,
like
I won't
general
steal one, but
Travel stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I might. But
not a whole bunch of people stopping you do much at the minute, so.
I know.
Okay.
Is there-
You got your lanterns.
There is nothing else in there in terms of like books, pictures.
Maybe in some of the small side offices, possibly.
A notice board. Like a sign outside, maybe.
There is a notice board in there, and it's got little pieces of paper, kind of like with kind of with pins stuck in it. You kind of glance over it. It's just boring town shit. I mean, there's nothing there that really reels you in to think of anything exciting or. Don't forget, next Friday, everybody vanishes.
That's what I
rapture
was
cometh.
hoping.
Make sure you wear your vanishing clothes. Or the yearly Talendon entire town pilgrimage to Sal's home starts on. Will be gone from this day to this day. Leave your make sure you leave everything unlocked. On All Thieves Are Welcome Day.
Oh yeah,
Tavern.
sure.
If we go.
You head back down towards the tavern. The skies are clearing just a little bit more. Are you still actively looking at the floors and stuff like that?
I off and on. I mean, I wouldn't say like dedicated because I'm also looking at the buildings and for signs of life.
I'm actively looking around because I am actually very nervous about this whole situation. I saw one shadow and I'm like, is there more? Where are they? There's probably got to be another one.
1 second.
So I am actively looking around for more signs of movement.
Why were you not? There we go. So you should be. Is that map? Can you see that map?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
As the
Oh, dear
sky
God.
kind of opens up a little bit more again, you suddenly notice significantly more shadows. Some of them are laying on the floor in a non-moving position, like they are asleep or worse. Others are just wandering around, minding their own business, like just as if people are walking in the town like any other normal day, but there's nobody there casting the shadows. Comrade is looking noticeably weirded out by this.
If I walk to where like one of them would be standing based on the light, there's nothing there. Like it's not like they're invisible.
Oh, you want to like go up and try to touch to see if there's
To
a
touch
physical.
to see if they're
No. All that happens is where your arm goes, you kind of notice your arm appear in the shadow, like the shadow's now got a third arm, but there's nothing there. Like physically, who or whatever is casting these shadows is not here. But the shadows being cast by them is.
Well, this is an interesting turn of events. As I watch you do that with your arm. I'm gonna place a comforting arm on Conrad and be like, "It's okay, man.
He's
I'll
like,
get you the best provisions and
Uh,
room and board."
do you have a personality visualization for how Conrad acts? I don't want to
So
impose. I mean, I'll do it, but I don't. But it's an NPC and it's your NPC, so I don't want to like
right.
take agency over it. I'd rather you did that.
So he apparently Astana throws a bunch of shit at him to like carry. But I treat him. I always give him like the best stuff he wants.
Yeah.
I'm not mean to him or
Yeah,
cruel
he probably
to him.
carries a large bag knowing that this is his lot in
Yeah.
life, right? He expects to be slightly the beast of burden. And he probably accepts that very happily because it's his way of contributing without getting murdered.
and he is well compensated. I never like say no, you can't have this.
So what's his personality like? Is he like...
So he is... So a lot of his skills that I chose, like the 5 that we chose together, are like outdoorsy skills, you know,
Okay.
treat poison, survival. So I think if it's like traveling from town to town, he's fine.
He's a little
But
worldly.
he's a little worldly, but if it's something clearly weird like this, he would be scared and skittish.
Is he genuinely jovial, or is he a little bit more stoic? Is he...
He's a little bit more stoic, a little bit
Okay.
more reserved.
It's not your average Joker or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool. Got it.
But yeah, impose what you want.
No, I just... If I've got an idea, then I know kind of what he wouldn't do.
I imagine this would freak him the fuck out, though.
This would freak most people out.
Yeah.
This is freaking me out.
Yeah, me too. Albert is as well.
The shadow that's closest to me, is it moving?
This one
Or
is
is
moving.
it-
This one's walking.
The one closest to me is walking. Where's it going?
Probably just strolling past you down the town, or, you know.
If I stand in front of it, what happens? It goes right through me?
So you're gonna like run and get in front of it to see what happens?
Yes.
It will continue walking. You feel nothing, see nothing. It literally just passes right underneath you and through you. It's temporarily distorted when your shadow and its shadow kind of hit each other, but only because two shadows occupying the same space are like, you know, not gonna look the same.
I'm going.
Who has a light?
You
Go
guys
ahead.
are shining. I mean, you guys are shedding. I mean, you know, you guys have shadows as well, but your shadows stay glued to you, and move like shadows do. These shadows seem somewhat weird.
Well, I was gonna go to this one that looks like it's all laying on the ground.
Yeah. Even the shadows that are like on the ground laying, they're shadows. So depending on the time of day, they may be elongated, they may be shorter, they may be, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can kind of tell what they are. Other times during the day, you're really not going to. And once there's no light, you're probably not going to see anything.
Yeah, I'm going.
The only
to
reason you
cast a
didn't
spell?
see any earlier is because it was kind of overcast, and it's only as the weather has started to clear a little bit, you've got like little patches in the clouds. Sun is going down, there's just enough light to cast shadows, but only when the clouds are like clear enough to do so.
Okay, I intend to cast a spell.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
And it's going to be on this one laying on the ground. And I'm going to try... it's Dismiss Magic.
Okay. Eliminating the magic from its target. Each point of Dispel Magic will cancel up to 2 points of Spirit Magic or Sorcery, or 1 point of Runic Magic. That's another thing to point out to everybody watching. While Spirit Magic and Runic Magic and stuff... Spirit Magic and Sorcery and stuff exist, and they have very unique things that they can do. No magic is as powerful physically as domain magic, magic that comes from the gods or is manifested through the elements, which is why dismiss magic that is generated through this type of magic, 1 point of dispel magic is equal to 2 points of a cast spell. So if there's a sorcery spell was cast, it would basically eliminate a 2 point sorcery spell as opposed to just a 1 point. Okay. It is R, which means you can use any of your domains to cast it, because it is not specific to a domain.
Yeah, so I would honestly, even though this is not my strongest spell, I mean, like, domain, I would use Truth.
Okay.
Which is only a 50-50, so...
Alrighty.
I would raise my hands and be like, "Oh, Desirous of Truth, reveal what this is to us, please."
Cool.
And
yeah,
I'm
and that's a good point. That's the other aspect of it is, even though the spell Dispel or Dismiss Magic can be cast with anything, how it's going to look, how it's going to perform, is going to be directly related to what you use to cast it. So yeah, if you're using Truth, then it is going to be more like a reveal sort of thing. Okay,
Yeah,
give us a dice roll.
Hey,
47.
just passed.
Okay, so you reduce your magic pool by 1. You can check your truth box.
Yep.
So here's the thing. You kind of, there's a bathing in light as you direct it towards the shadow. It's not a glowing, powerful light, so it's not like bright light that's going to really influence the shadow. More like a translucent glow, as it were. Probably floats all over it. But after that, it's still there. Nothing happened. Which tells you one of two things. Either it's not really magic, or it's significantly more powerful than you can control, or that you can dismiss.
Okay, so I'm just gonna look back and be like, "That's not good." And I'm gonna then just shrug. I was hoping it would reveal something to me, guys.
Nothing. Let's see.
All right. I am going to walk in the door of the tavern.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to avoid as many shadows as I can.
They didn't do anything to me. I'm just going to keep going.
I
They
mean,
walk right through
the
me.
likelihood is there might be a lot of the shadows are inside, or might be in the buildings. You just don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go in too.
Okay, then.
And this is where I'm going to have my
We'll all
lantern
follow.
kind
Then
of
I'm going
held
to
high.
assume everybody's going in.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hold
Yes.
I'm gonna hold my lantern high so I can see if there are like any shadows near me when I'm walking through.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Let me
Oh boy.
put you guys in here. So with the windows currently open and with your bright lantern or whatever, you guys all kind of come in. And yeah, you can see a few shadows. Few of them are sitting at tables. Couple of them seem to be dead, or like in the throes of being what we're gonna call dead shadows. One laying here by the front door, one by the back door, one at the base of the stairs. There's a shadow that seems to be polishing glasses over here behind the bar. I mean,
This one up here looked like it was polishing something else right before they fell over, but
no, it probably had a scabbard.
yes, he did.
Are there any windows?
Yes. You got windows here and here. There actually should be more windows.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me add a couple more windows. While you're doing that.
I like where you're going with that. Where the light's coming in.
Well, also, like, the code phrase says I'm gonna sit by a window. I'd rather sit by a window.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if you're thinking...
Drink
along
it
those
by the
lines.
window.
I would like
Yeah.
to drink my red wine by the window.
In a fine mug.
So I was like gonna go find one of the mugs
Mm.
Okay, there we go.
and see if there's a
Mug by
shadow
a
near a
window.
window.
Okay. There are half-drunk drinks on the tables. There's half-eaten foods on the tables. Most of the food is in a similar state as what you found. If it was a soup or a stew, it's got a little bit of a floaty film on the top of it. maybe little patches of floating mold. The bread is going moldy. Any of the meat is probably festered and gone a little funky. Again, all symbols and things that are leading you to believe that it wasn't too long ago, but it wasn't just yesterday.
Well, I would suggest nobody eat or drink anything in here.
Yeah, that's out and obviously on the thing. I know the fireplace here looks like it's a light. It's not.
I'm gonna
It's
walk
not a light.
It is not
over.
lit. No.
I'm gonna walk over, kind of behind the bar,
Okay.
and look for like any.
The shadow will come and probably move over here and take a seat. Just because. Okay. I mean, you go behind the bar, there are, underneath the bar here, are bottles, bottles of wines, bottles of spirits and stuff like that. You've got 2 large tapped barrels here.
If I hold up a bottle of because I'm looking for a red, because that's what the code is.
You can find a red wine, no problem.
If I hold up the bottle to where my lantern casts the shadow of the bottle near the barkeep, who I'm assuming is the barkeep, does he interact with the shadow at all?
He does not.
Okay.
No. I mean, the way that these shadows are kind of, the way that the shadows are doing stuff, they're not interacting with you or acknowledging you in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was seeing if they interacted with something from their world.
No, it's a good idea,
Not
but
me.
no, he doesn't.
Okay. Then I'm going to take the bottle and a few nice mugs and bring it to the table for us.
Okay. There's really not nice mugs. There's just wooden tankards.
I'm going to find the nicest ones I can find, because that's what the code says.
Okay.
Well,
I'm following the code. This is all I have to go on.
I mean, if that's what you're doing, why don't you fill the chalice with the wine?
I don't want to bring that out right now.
I can't bring it out right now.
It says it's a fine mug, and it's a mug. I am not bringing that out in front of anybody.
I mean, that's...
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you can kind of look around.
This is the table closest to a window.
Arguably, yes, you are correct.
I'm going to go sit at that table.
Okay.
And I'm going to pour us all a glass. I can't see which direction I'm facing. Oh well. I'm going to pour us all a glass.
Your sword is pointing forward.
It's really small on my screen right now, and I don't have the zoom in.
Try to sit in the
see
chair.
It all.
Whoops! No, I don't want to be on the table. I want to sit
I can
in
zoom
the chair
in
where
for
the
you
shadow
guys
is.
if you want. By all means.
So
I can certainly zoom in to your table. There you go.
I want to sit where he is. I can't sit where he is. I would assume I'm going to
hold down the Alt button.
Alt.
Yes.
While you drag it.
You want to sit in the shadow?
Otherwise, you'll snap.
I want to see what he does.
Nothing.
I just want to see what happens.
Nothing. You're sitting on a shadow.
Okay.
You would be sitting on the lap of a person, but the person's not here.
I'm trying to get a reaction. That's all. What's going on?
I'm gonna pour all of us a glass of wine,
okay,
including our friend. Conrad is gonna get a glass of wine too.
Okay.
I don't leave him out. He's a part of our party. And I'm going to say
we're going to say Conrad has gone put his back to the corner, just because, so that we'll have Istana sitting in the chair.
Okay.
I'd like to smell it, the wine.
Smells okay. Doesn't
vinegar?
smell corked. Doesn't smell vinegary.
Okay.
I am going to look at everybody and be like, I don't think this is going to do anything, but on the off chance it does, I'm going to say the phrase, "As it is so late, mine's a red wine in a fine mug, but I would like to drink it by the window if you do not mind." And then just kind of pause.
I lift my glass as you say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't think that would work, but
Let me do the thing here.
It is something.
Okay.
Novel idea.
Well, something does happen.
Oh, good.
But
Oh.
what happens is more by coincidence than
Okay.
by design.
Oh no.
The back door bursts open, and through it comes a band of individuals. They kind of like burst in loudly laughing. Each one is carrying like a bag full of shit. Like,
Oh God.
All right.
it would appear that while you have been politely running around town, other people that have shown up since, I guess, haven't been. The last person through the door glances down, looks at the shadow, shrugs, and walks in behind her little band. Is actually a woman, and she has one eye that has got like it's whited out because there's like a scar that cut down through her eyeball at one point. They kind of all bundle in like, and and they all seem rather surprised to see actual people sitting here at the table. At that point, this one here kind of pulls out a hand axe. And he's kind of like just holding it in his hand. He points across it and goes, "Who the fuck are you?"
Manners? Who the fuck are you?
I'm fucking sitting. And I'm gonna wave.
Okay. The guy standing next to him just looks at him and says, "Probably another band of looters." And he goes, "Yeah, well, I'm not sharing." With that, the woman with the one eye says, "Shut it!" And they kind of grumble. He goes over to the
Is that
bar, kind of like
Is it a Satchmo?
hops over the bar. There's a Satchmo come back. I guess
Is
we need
it
to
a
fill you
Satchmo?
in on what's been going on, because a lot has happened.
Oh,
So much has happened.
so much.
Okay.
I see bodies strewn about.
No, you don't. See, that's the
No.
thing.
No,
That's
no
literally
bodies.
the thing. So, you've initially wandered around town. Briefly, when some of the clouds cleared, you saw like what seemed like a shadow moving. You found nothing. Every building you've come across is empty. The church, the stores, you found houses. You finally found your way over to the tavern. As you approach the tavern, the clouds cleared enough to allow some light to shine, and you have seen all outside the shadows of people walking around, living life. Some shadows were laying in like positions of probably they were killed, but there are no people casting those shadows. They have confirmed that doesn't seem to be just a routine magic spell, because Albert did dismiss magic, and Umbra went over and like waved her hand and like where a body should have been to see if there was like an invisible person there, and there is nothing. So
I'm literally
thus
sitting
far,
on one
you've
too.
only established that there are shadows where people should be or where bodies should be, but they're not there. Only the shadows are. You've all come into the tavern finally, like literally just come in here, got a bottle of red wine, sat in the corner. Everybody poured a glass, and you said the phrase on the thing.
I tried the magic phrase.
And right as you spoke those words, this door kicked in, and a ragtag bunch of ruffians come bursting in, carrying big sacks of presumably stuff they've looted, and screamed, "Who the fuck are you?" And the leader, who appears to be a woman with one eye, because her like a huge gash right down here, it's like a wided out eye. Literally, she's just come over, she hops over the bar, reaches underneath, grabs a couple of bottles, throws them out to her people, and they like catch them. And then she'll grab a cork from some kind of spirit bottle, maybe a brandy or something like that, pull it out, spit it on the floor, take a huge long pull of it, and then pops up and sits herself on the edge of the bar. Slowly but surely, everybody that didn't have a weapon in hand, like the first one that pulled the hand axe was this guy that screamed, "Who the fuck are you?" You've noticed that all of them have, not particularly covertly, but slowly at least, have all drawn weapons, like cautiously. So yeah, she told him to shut it, and then went about getting a drink. And now they're all kind of peering at you. Probably maneuvering a little bit here, spreading out just a fraction. Okay, what do you guys want to do? Yeah. The assumption is she's the leader, because she told everybody to shut it, and they did.
Yeah.
Just for the record, loot and pillage all you want. We just got here. And honestly, I don't care what you take from this town. There doesn't seem to be anyone fucking here. We just wanted a drink. You know, a long day travel. That's it. So, greetings and welcome.
Okay, they're all just scowling at you. She just says, "Yes, looting is such thirsty work.
Oh.
How long have you been here?"
I'm gonna go like this to my non-existent watch.
To my
About like
sundial.
an hour. Yeah, my sundial. No, I'm just gonna be like, not more than an hour, I reckon.
I say, she says, "Not in the tavern, in the town."
Again, like an hour.
"Oh, you've just got here."
Just sat down.
Okay,
For some
Big Mouth
late-
says, "Well, that's handy. That means I haven't had a chance to nick nothing."
Yeah,
And
all
she just
yours.
cuts him another look.
Oh.
And he just quietens down. He says, "Nobody has a point. Probably not a good idea to stay here if I were you. Seems like everybody that's here disappears and turns into God knows what."
How long have you been here?
We got here, about 2 or 3 hours ago. It's rather strange, really. We've come into town, just traveling through. Nobody here whatsoever. So, it's kind of like a general store's dash, really. We're just going around, helping ourselves, taking what we want. You're not bloody do-gooders, are you, and are going to try to cause us any trouble?
Do they look like they have stuff that equals a couple of hours, or do they look like they've gotten more?
I mean, every one of them has a full bag, but let's be given the fact that you've got stores all over the place with nobody
Okay.
in them, and if you got a
Yeah.
sack, you can put a lot of shit in a sack in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us really want bloodshed, so I don't think any of us are gonna do any good.
And again, I literally just said, steal whatever you want. We don't care. So
Uh,
clearly, we're not do-gooders, right?
this
Your
guy
business
kind
is
of
your
moves
business.
in real close to her and leans in, and you see him kind of quietly trying to whisper something. Anybody that would like to try to eavesdrop that, you have an opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which skill is
I
that?
gotta make up for all these rolls
listen.
I missed.
Is that a
Have
listen
a
skill?
listen skill.
Uh-huh.
Perception. Yep.
I pass. -40. Yes.
No!
It's gotta be a
Ooh, Umbra.
25. No good. No good.
Okay.
Umbra's got it.
What is your skill,
Ooh,
Umbra?
Umbra.
My listen skill is 30. 30.
6 is right on the cusp, so you got a special. So let's see, and
Damn.
you passed.
I passed,
so you
yeah.
get to check it as well. You will hear what the guy facing you says.
Okay.
You won't necessarily clearly hear what she replies back. Umbra, on the other hand, you will hear both sides.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. He says, "We should do them now while they're sitting down." And then you'll hear her say, "Not until we find out what they know." And then you see him kind of like move back over here. Or not you, you stay on the bar. Okay. He says, so why'd you come here then?
For
Passing through.
For the company? I mean, it's the nearest town to where we were traveling, and the day was getting long.
You just passing through.
Yeah.
Passing through, looking for tavern for drink.
Oh, you found that.
Safe.
And
hold
the
up my
prices
drink.
are incredibly reasonable here. In which case, a couple of her guys like giggle and laugh.
Yeah.
This is
So we've noticed. I'll hold up the bottle and like pour us all another drink.
okay. Yeah, she'll just say, so, any idea what the hell is going on? You didn't come here because of this, then?
No.
Didn't even know what this is.
And you weren't, like, somehow survivors of whatever this is?
Nope.
No.
She says,
No.
because, an entire town this size to go suddenly empty. Well, my first thought was maybe there's a disease or a plague or something. But then typically people would mark the doors and there'd be signs of that. So, not really sure what's going on, but, while everything's empty, we're going to take full advantage of it.
I mean, whatever did happen here, based on the state of the food that's been left out, it probably happened a day or two ago. That's what we're reckoning, right? Right, Umbra?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, you found the
Can't say for
cheese
sure.
in that house, so...
All I'm saying is we don't know what's going on.
Okay,
Your guess is as good as mine.
then this fellow here says, well, the apples and the potatoes were okay. Peaches have gone all mushy. So are the pears. And then this guy over here says, yes, and the butchers, well, there's hanging meat. But most of the meat that's there seems to have hung a little too long. Other than some salted beef and pork.
Do you find it a little weird that some of the shadows are dead looking and others are just walking around?
Hadn't really paid that much attention to it, to be honest, she said. Just not really sure what it is. At first, we were very freaked out. We were going to leave. Because that's what sensible people would do. But then we realized we could spend a few hours here and get rich quick and then piss off.
So you have no concern of one being literally right behind you? No concern at all?
She kind of like just glances back there and says, it's not bothering me any.
Hasn't bothered us either.
She says, so, you all seem fairly, well dressed. She kind of like scooches down to this end of the bar and sits on this side now. She says, what was that about avoiding bloodshed? I like
I've
that
got my
idea.
hand on my rapier
She
just
says,
in
I
case.
like that idea.
I'm sorry, but a whole town worth of valuables is at your disposal. We are sitting in our little corner of the tavern, paying no mind, no care, and you want to pick a fight?
I never said that.
Well, talking
She
about
just said
bloodshed.
she wanted to do the opposite.
I mean,
Precisely.
come on.
Precisely.
Well, we're all of the same mind here. We're not doing anything rash.
Yeah, no.
Whatever
She said, I
rash thing
just,
has happened already.
wanted to find out if you'd had a chance to lay hands on anything. She says, because to be honest, other than plates, cutlery, food, hammers, tongs, horseshoes, I really had hoped we'd find stuff of more substance, to be honest.
Oh, well, in that case, by the temple, there's a very large, wealthy-ish estate that we came across. Only entered just to see if anyone was in there. Have at it. I'm sure there's some valuables
the temple
there.
had some things in there.
Oh,
Stealing the
don't
teeth
generally
is
steal from gods, to be honest. Not overly safe.
Your loss. We happened to be in there, just looked around, but...
But you didn't steal anything either? Or did you?
No. I didn't.
I sure didn't, but there was some shiny in there. But not to my liking.
Wonder if there was anything maybe a guest at the inn would have had. That'd be upstairs, wouldn't it?
You see them all kind of like look at each other, like they hadn't thought of that. What do you say, boys? Do you think we should stay the night? Oh, I don't know. This really is kind of weird. Wouldn't like to stay too long. Sure,
Maybe.
Let's stay the night. Drink the place fucking dry and then rub it clean by the morning.
Wait, sir, lady, just a thought. You know, my mind starts to wander. Some of these shadows look like they're dead. Some of them look like they're wandering around. What if at night, when darkness falls, the shadows that are walking around turn into monsters and kill us, and then we end up as shadows on the ground, as dead? I was about to say this to my team before you came in.
Okay.
But it's a little weird, no?
How are you phrasing that? Are you phrasing that kind of like to scare them? Are you phrasing that more kind of as a eloquent observation? Are you kind of saying it more as a warning to them, like, oh, you ought to be careful?
Honestly, it stems more from my storytelling mind, so it's less like I'm trying to scare them.
Give me an orate skill roll then, because it's all going to be
give us an R.L. Stein check really quick.
All right, I have a very high orate skill.
Give us the goosebumps.
Yeah, you are good at that.
I pass. Mine is at 80.
Okay, yeah.
Holy crap.
So you very eloquently put your point across. You can check that.
Okay.
Right, some of the lackeys are all kind of like looking at each other with a concerned look on their face after hearing all of this. And she kind of like just raises an eyebrow. What makes you think that that might be the case?
Honestly, it was just one of the branches of thought that came across my mind. I do this all the time, much to the annoyance of my friends.
He's
usually
paranoid.
usually Conrad over there strums a few notes and I get up on a stage and I start spitting stories and my mind wanders and I try to make sense of it and I'm just like dead shadows, live shadows, maybe we stay the night, we turn into dead shadows.
Does Conrad do anything when you talk about him?
I do kind of gesture at him, so he probably plays a few notes.
Okay.
Awkwardly.
Alrighty. So this is where fun happens. Remember passions? We all have passions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At that point, Mr. Handaxe here goes, "A bard! The bastard!" And suddenly lobs the Handaxe across the table, violently, impulsively, through the air towards poor Conrad.
Oh.
For some reason, this guy has an issue with bards.
Oh no.
Okay, it's a good job that it's a long throw. It goes hurling through the air and misses Conrad, like hitting the wall about a foot too high and a foot to the right. It just goes thunk. With that, she jumps down off the bar and she says, "Oh, for pity's sake, did you have to?"
I'm pulling out my sword and jumping up. Like,
I'm getting
right in front of Conrad. This is not happening
Okay,
here.
yeah, Conrad at this point, after the axe nearly
up.
hit him, he is ducked down behind the table, pulling as soon as a chair is empty, he is pulling the chair across in front of him like a barrier.
It'll probably be my chair because I'm out of it.
The second you jump
we're
up
all
and
out.
draw weapons, they immediately ready their weapons and kind of like start to move into more of an aggressive position.
Yeah.
And she's like, "We could have avoided this." But then she pulls out a weapon and positions herself ready. This guy, on the other hand, as I say, now he has pulled out his second hatchet. This time he's not throwing it. He's just seething and says, "I'll murder you, you lute-playing son of a bitch!" And that's where we're going to leave it tonight.
Oh.
It could have gone so well had. Yeah.
You
I'm
had
sorry,
to
we go.
bring up
Okay.
the bar.
This guy's
I
just
had the
insane.
bar to
How would we have known?
The fun thing is,
How would we
figuring
have
out
known this
what-
crazy guy would be
will you
totally insane?
Will you find out why he hates bards so much? We'll see.
Which is funny because I'm technically the bard, not the lute player.
Yeah, but you don't
True.
look like a
I
bard.
know. I just look like a fancy fucking guy. It's
So-
funny.
Yeah.
Kind of lucky that you don't look like a bard, really, huh?
It's
Throwing
giving.
it at
It's
me.
giving. It's giving divorce. It's giving. He's divorced.
It's okay. I was kind of upset that Istana told them to go upstairs because I was like, we should go upstairs and find out the room of the guy who came here waiting for the item, so we can find out where he's from or like anything about him.
Hey, there we go.
So I'm kind of glad that they're not going to be taking that. I
Not
can-
gonna
everybody
have
supports
to be,
the fine arts. You haven't heard this guy play, obviously. All right. Well, there we go. Well, that was a good, fun first session. Sorry that you had to shelter in place from terrible weather there, Satch.
Yeah. Just 3 tornadoes, I guess.
That sucks.
So
man.
far that they know of.
My gosh.
Yeah, we had a
But
near
you're-
miss a couple of weeks ago. It went about, it was less than a mile to the south of me, and it tore up a whole bunch of trees, and luckily nobody's house got hit. Someone lost a shed, that was all. No one's house got hit. A few people lost some roof shingles and stuff like that, but it wasn't terrible. But it was enough to knock out 22,000 people's power in this area, and my internet, as you know, for several days, and blocked the roadways so they had, the first thing they had to do was get a lot of the trees moved so that they could repair the power, and because the power company owns the lines that the cable is on, they get to repair their stuff first. So yeah, big old kettle of fuck ups. But I'm glad
As long
you're
as
safe.
you're okay, Satch. Yeah,
That's it. I'm
for
glad you're
real.
safe.
Yeah.
As long as you're okay.
All
Yup.
right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you
had
missed
turtle
stuff, but
in a little
nothing
tub in the
that really
basement.
required too much. So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I'll just rewatch the
Yeah,
replay here.
that. My
Check
God,
The only-
we do record this stuff, don't we?
Yes.
That's handy.
I
You missed the
believe so. I believe
part.
so.
I took 5 attempts to cast something.
It's okay. I rolled no skills at all successfully.
That's
at all
okay.
the
Well, there
entire
hasn't been a
time, so-
whole lot of skill rolling yet.
Yeah, but I can't advance anything.
Yet.
Yeah,
But-
there's
Yeah,
It's
there,
okay,
there
we
was
just rolled a bunch of
there was a
scan.
bunch of opportunities for some skill rolls, but
Mostly scan. We scanned a lot.
yeah, they did a lot of looking around. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions, now's the time to hurl them at us. Looks like you might get to see combat next week.
murder.
I just keep thinking the door's pretty close. We could probably just leave.
You can
Oh, I don't know.
try to bolt for it if you want.
Throw a chair. And
Some of you might get out.
Think about it. Think about it.
So there we go. Yeah. No questions?
I don't think so.
Well, if you've got no questions, then we got no answers. So, I would just like to say thank you to everybody that subbed, resubbed. Thank you for our cheers. And most of all,
Hey.
no questions, just another good show. Yeah, thank you. Sheet's working wonderfully. Thank you for that.
Yep. Oh, she's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Couldn't have asked for a better sheet. Working fantastically.
Yes.
So, yep, good jobby. Pepperjack, you are welcome. We enjoyed it. Thank you again for your cheeriness. Glad Sheet's good. I'm always happy when when Sheet works out, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
sheet.
Gore, Shane did ask, is there gonna be like an official player's handbook dungeon master version of this.
Maybe at
Yeah, I
some
said a while
point.
ago.
Maybe at some point. It's a long way off though, because I mean, the amount of time it took me just to format and get all the spells into hand the spells to a player compared to getting everything else done, it's going to be a lot of work, because I have dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of PDFs and documents that I've put together and created, and I've got them all in sections that somehow I've got to uniform them, get them all into one thing. So, it's a.
I figured as much.
Yeah, I'm not saying it won't happen, but don't look for it anytime soon.
Right.
Because all the time we're running shows, any free time I have is prepping for shows and not working on putting together pretty documents. So,
yep.
But yeah, we will eventually get to that point.
Cool.
Is this
Alrighty.
for, like 1.0 or 0.1?
This is probably, technically we did beta, so this is release. This is probably early release 1.0. Still open to change, still potentially going to be tweaked and modified. And that's the other thing is, until I got it to where I'm 100% happy, I wouldn't want to put all the work in to put it together only to have to change a ton of stuff later as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll get there. But
Fair.
alrighty, well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate y'all. Much love. Everybody have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you again Monday for Relative Curse of Strahd. Y'all take care. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.